Michael, we have a full podcast. I know I always say that, but it's always true.
There's
it's a whole
lot.
week. We need to start doing. Oh my God! I was about to say the words. We need to start doing 2 podcasts a week, just so that these aren't so goddamn packed. But that's an insane thing for crazy people.
Yeah, you're just doing more podcasts at that. That's kind of pointless.
I'm just going to cash in however many dojo videos it takes to get another podcast out, which is 4 days worth. So we're going to have 3 videos and 2 podcasts instead of 7 videos and 1 podcast.
We could just turn the dojos into podcasts.
Well, that happens half the time anyway.
Yeah, but we could do the actual podcast in the middle of it.
That's true. Welcome back, everybody, to the dojo here on Rage Light Time. Jeff.
I'm Mike.
We have so much to talk about.
Dojo.
What's that?
And this is not a dojo.
This is not the dojo.
That you know
This
of.
is the Rage Select podcast right here on Rage Select. I'm Jeff. There, I got it right. God damn, I'm tired. Everybody's so tired.
We're all tired.
You know what? I realized the other day, like I was thinking, like, maybe I'm sick, maybe I'm dying, I don't know, whatever. But I remembered, and I always forget this every year, that like right now in the back half of summer, I always get super run down, and then like the day when there's a cold snap and I have to get my jacket out, I'm just like, yes, it's like a minty gum commercial. I'm just like, the crackling frost. I feel so good to be alive.
That your mouth feels with 5 or whatever. 5 gum.
Yes. Five alive. No, that's a drink. Anyway, we got a lot to get through this week, but before we get to that, we have even more. We got a brand new Matrix trailer.
Yeah.
I have a lot of really weird feelings about this because, as you well know, Jeff is real fucking sick of like dragging the cool shit from when he was young out, like polishing it up all nice and shiny and putting it out. But I had this thought the other day that I haven't had with anything else. So tell me if I'm just sleep deprived or if this makes sense to you. I'm saying this as if I know that somebody else on the internet has already said this. But I don't even know. But I only thought of it today, so fuck you. The Matrix is a time loop movie, but it only has one time loop. But at the end of the Matrix Revolutions, they explain that this whole thing has happened over and over and over again, and it keeps leading to the same thing where the human resistance gets crushed down to like a very small number of people, so that it's not like completely wiped out. The machines still get to use people as batteries, which is all stupid the way that it is. And then like eventually a Neo comes out. Because remember that scene with the architect where there was all the other Keanus,
that's
right?
Of Reloaded.
Yeah.
Is that sequence.
Yes.
Where it's just like a series of Keanu Reeves telling the guy to go fuck himself.
Right, like laughing, and it's like a one big Mountain Dew commercial behind him. But it's, okay, so it's a time loop movie with only one time loop, but then like at the end of the original Matrix trilogy, like they changed something, and then we never follow the time loop. Like when the time loop breaks, the movie or the TV show is over, right? We never like continue to see what happens next time after the curse has been broken.
Yeah, there's no
like we never saw Groundhog Day 2.
Well, we saw a game version of it, but that's different.
Yeah.
But that's the point though. We've never seen one of those ones where like we broke the loop and what happens after kind of thing.
Right.
Like I know they're making a sequel, that Netflix one that had a time loop, but I don't even know if it's the same
Russian
thing.
Doll. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like it's just I'm fascinated by what the Matrix 4 is going to be about, really,
because it also looks really weird, and I also like the idea that the Matrix, like when I talk about the Matrix being this super popular franchise that they're bringing back because of the nostalgia value, but like people are deeply divided on the second and third Matrix movies. It's
100%.
It's not like the further we got away that people revise their opinion and they're like, you know what? Those movies are actually okay. I know a lot of people who'll just be like, no, you fuck yourself. Like, those movies are shit and I hate them. They ruined my life.
Yeah, the running gag is there'll be people you'll talk to and you'll be like, yeah, the Matrix sequels. And you'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
There were no Matrix sequels.
Right.
It's never happened before.
So I kind of like this idea where like if the Matrix has changed but the time loop is still in effect, and now we've got a new Keanu and a new Trinity here, and some kind of like, I like the fucking what Neil Patrick Harris is in here with his fucking take the blue pill glasses at the beginning, and I like it. I like that if they do something interesting with it. I hope it's good, because I remember that generally speaking, I don't like the sequel reboot stuff because it's really lazy, but like Mad Max Fury Road was one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's like the fourth one in the Mad Max franchise. So
Well, the thing about the Matrix series is that it's not even really that old compared to a lot of other movies that get sequels. Like, it's not like Indiana Jones where like that, that ended back in, or the first end was the Last Crusade, and then we got super old Harrison Ford later down the line. This is still Keanu looking fairly like Keanu for the most part, which is more like John Wick than he did back in the end of fucking Revolutions.
I like the idea. We always see Keanu now with the beard and the long hair, and I like the idea that people are like, Keanu, will you come back? And he's like, as long as I don't have to fucking shave or cut my hair. Like, this is what you get. I will not be doing anything to my hair or my beard.
Bill and Ted's the only one where he shaved. Like, the only one I can think of him having shaved. And he looks fucking weird now without a beard.
He really does.
So I was like, no, go back to the beard. Stop it.
Oh my God. Actually, you know what? I don't know, man. The Indiana Jones thing might not be that far off because Keanu Reeves is 57 years old.
That's true, yeah. He's in his 50s, but the thing is, Keanu's a fucking vampire.
He's a time traveler, right? They got all those pictures of him back in like the 1500s or
He's
whatever.
clearly a vampire from What We Do in the Shadows, and we just keep recording him.
He's got his own Guillermo.
Yeah. His Guillermo is fucking Alex Winters because he's aging just fine.
Oh, man. I don't know. It looks all right. Like, I think that one of the other things that I've learned over the course of my life is that like the fewer expectations you have for a thing, that like most of the time you'll be like not that let down, and then a lot of times you'll be genuinely surprised if you could just like,
Well, the shocking thing is nobody knew this fucking movie existed.
Yeah.
For like they filmed pretty much the entirety of this movie without anyone actually knowing they were going to make this movie.
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, we're making Matrix 4 and we're almost done with it. They're like, well, you're doing what now? And then there's a trailer, like, already. I'm like, holy shit.
But see, I have one question. That is, are they going to bring back the best character in The Matrix, the Merovingian? Am I going to get to listen to some French dude pontificate about vagina for 20 minutes in the middle of my movie?
Jeff. Cake orgasms are where it's at.
And those ghosts, are those ghost dudes with the dreadlocks coming back? I want to see the ghosts.
I'm pretty sure those dudes just outright died. But so did Keanu and Trinity, so I don't know if I fucking knows at this point.
Okay, what about the Train Man? Is the Train Man coming back? That's what I need to know.
What about the guy who only makes keys?
The key maker?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of... It's really deep on that. But I don't know.
And the spoon kid.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to...
Except he's an adult now. Bending spoons with his hands.
I'm going to watch it when it comes out. It's been on HBO Max. I'm not about to cancel my HBO Max. I'll just watch it when it comes on HBO Max.
I forgot it's going to be an HBO Max thing, but...
So...
I want to say I'm excited. Here's the funny thing about The Matrix is I didn't like The Matrix as a kid.
Oh.
I hated The Matrix as a kid only because everyone loved it so much.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't care about this.
Edgelord.
And my brother kept trying to trick me into watching the Matrix films. I didn't watch them until I was like 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I get it. These are good. And then with Revolutions, I was like, this is okay, I guess. But I found out they were really big fans of Dragon Ball Z, so it made a lot of sense, that final battle.
Sure. See, I think that the big thing for The Matrix that doesn't really exist as much anymore is that the marketing for The Matrix was vague as fuck.
Oh, super vague.
And like you had no idea what the fuck was going on. It looked like a hacker's movie. And then you went and you started watching it, and it seemed like a hacker's movie outside of the weird like Trinity and the phone and the thing. You're just like, wow, that's weird. And then it goes over to Keanu and it's like, oh, he's a master hacker. And then fucking 15 minutes into that movie, the mirror goes down his throat and he wakes up into goo and you're like, what? I do not get what?
That series is fucking weird.
So,
and then they made the Path of Neo, which has an alternate final battle ending. If you remember that.
Yeah.
That was a fascinating thing.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I'll give it a watch. I'll tell you what else, though. So what was it, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I believe I told you that I was watching Diamond is Unbreakable.
Oh, yeah.
And I finished Diamond is Unbreakable, and I started watching The Golden Wind.
Golden Wind, yeah.
And I like Golden Wind even more because it's more violent and more bizarre and more fucked up. So, and also everybody dresses like fucking fabulously. Like
it's fucking fabulous as shit.
if there's a way, like every man in the mob crew must have a big chunk of exposed skin somewhere, either like a chest or a midriff, or that one guy's just got big holes in his suit for no reason.
Well, that's
like
the thing about like when people talk about animes and they're like, oh, women are always sexualized in an anime. I'm like, you should watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and you will never have that issue ever again.
I also noticed that they brought back the hexagon shoulders in this one, which they smoothed out in Diamond is Unbreakable. And then the other thing that I really like is that because it's a mob story, people just get fucking murdered.
Yeah.
Like, there's none of this high school persona, like, and then we knocked him out and the cops took him away, or he turned into our best friend. It's like, no, that guy fucking died. Like,
yeah, there's a guy who fucking dies because his banana turns into a gun.
Yes. Yes.
That's a sentence I said.
Yes, and that's very early on. So
that's why I said it, because it's early.
I recommend. There's a part where the guy, it's not even central to the plot, but there's just like a cutaway where a dude what can shrink things kills a guy by putting a shrunken car into his drink and then turning the car back into the regular sized car.
I forgot that happened. Oh my god, that's right.
And he's like an assassin, and I'm like, this is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's pretty good. Like, the cops are never going to fucking figure that out. They're going to be like, did this car drive through this guy? What happened here? But
yeah, that I know that one has a lot of the subtitle names changed too.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing about JoJo's that a lot of people forget is that the guy loves music so much that pretty much every stand is named either after a song or a band of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
So the anime has to change the subtitles to say something different, but the anime language doesn't give a fuck, so they'll just still say it.
Right.
So that's always fun. It's always fun to try to guess what something means.
Yeah.
Like
also, they're easier to get in this one than the last one. The last one was a little bit harder to figure out exactly, because some of them were a little bit more like obscure. But here it's like fucking Aerosmith and Purple Haze and like.
Well, there was originally there was supposed to be a PS2 game based on that version that was supposed to come out here in America.
Okay.
But they couldn't get past Prince.
Because the main guy's stand is like golden something.
Because it's named after one of his songs.
I think it's an album.
And in fact, his manga color is a Prince purple.
Oh,
compared to the anime's version.
Okay,
it's like a pink kind of thing. Because he's very much like a Prince type character. Kind of thing. And yeah, there was supposed to be a version of that of the PS2 game that was supposed to be here, but yeah, they literally just could not get past Prince.
Wow.
They're like, we can't make a fucking compromise, so we're just not going to do it.
All right. Well, let's see. We're just about time to get into this gigantic goddamn PlayStation thing. But before we do that, Michael, anything fancy, anything catch your eye that you want to mention real fast before we get into it?
What Should We Do in the Shadows started back up again.
So good
last week, and
so good.
It's so fucking funny still.
Yep.
And it's hard to say other than that because I don't want to ruin any of the jokes, especially if nobody hasn't seen the new season yet.
Yep.
But it's so goddamn funny. I also started up a new show on Hulu called Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, with Martin Short,
which is Steve Martin Short, and Selena Gomez.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's actually like I thought it was going to be this lighthearted comedy thing, but it's actually a very serious mystery with some comedy in it.
Okay,
like Selena Gomez has some comedy bits, but for the most part, she's a very serious character. You're trying to figure out what's going on with her. You're trying to figure out what's going on with Martin Short and Steve Martin in certain aspects of it, as well as the actual murder that starts the entire thing.
Okay.
And so you're just you're just very confused as to like who's telling the truth and who's not. And even like I said, even Martin Short and Steve Martin have like weird pasts that you didn't expect walking into it, kind of thing. Okay. And I'm very excited to see how it plays out, and especially because the end of I think the end of one of the episodes, if you wait after the credits, it does one of those montages of like, here's what will come next.
Oh.
And it's such like a quick set of cuts that are just like, what the fuck's happening?
Cool.
That you're just like, I have to know what's going to happen next.
All right.
I'm excited.
Excellent. Well, speaking of being excited about what happens next, we got a whole PlayStation showcase today.
Yeah.
This would have been a really a real bummer of a week. We got a really heavy story coming up, so like prepare yourself for that. But we're going to start with the cool, easy stuff.
Yes.
PlayStation stuff. So we got a whole PlayStation showcase. And this whole thing started, I don't know, did you watch this thing at the beginning where it's like, I do not understand what the fuck this is, but it's like these two dudes and they're playing chess. They're the kings. There's like a white king and a black king, and they're in these big tall buildings, and they're playing chess, and then they'll move a pawn, and then it'll like flash to a person who is that pawn, like running around and doing parkour on the streets. Now behind them there's like advertisements for Sony stuff, but this whole thing just goes on and on. Like it's like 5 minutes. There's this weird short, and eventually it's like, here come the bishops, and it's like a dude in a car, and then like here's the queen and the rook, and it's like a tack van pulls up. I have no idea what this has to do with anything. It's not for a game. It's just one of those inexplicable Sony marketing things.
Well, it's probably one of those things where they're like, play something that it feels super real, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
It's probably one of those weird ideas that somebody had, and somebody was like, no, this makes sense, and then they just went with it.
It's just there's a lot of money in this. There's a lot of money in this.
There's a helicopter in this thing.
Sets and props and costumes and stuff, and it's one of those things where it's just like, what is this? You know what it reminds me of? You remember when Sony did that ad where it was like the world is flooded and the waters were going back, and it turns out it was like a guy watching God of War crying, and he climate changed everything.
That's right. That was a thing.
So yeah,
I'd be more impressed if this was a game of checkers.
It was really
so somebody grabs another guy and puts him on top of his head and it's like, I'm a king now, and just runs off.
No, it's so fucking weird. It's like weird, and then at the end the pawn comes in and takes the king, and it's just like, you got PlayStation, and I'm like, what? Anyway, enough of that bullshit.
Now you'll never know about God of War.
Yeah.
Stabs the king.
So all right, we started out with this was a big one. We'd heard a lot of rumors. I've been talking about this for like a year and a half.
It's what everybody's been asking for since EA had the Star Wars license.
Yeah, so they are remaking Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
And we got a very short teaser with Revan and kind of the Bastilla voiceover.
It's not even EA, right? It's not like it's Aspire.
Well, Aspire is the one that's
an EA thing.
Aspire is the one that's making it. And it's going to be a timed exclusive on the PS5. So yeah, Aspire. It's not actually EA. This is actually the kind of post, because Ubisoft is working on a game as well, right? This is after their exclusivity deals run out. They finally were able to start farming it out to other studios.
Well, that's the funniest thing about it, is because fucking BioWare was the one who made the original,
right?
And EA has BioWare.
Yep.
And BioWare kept getting, hey, you want us to do this? And they're like, nah, I'm good. And then the second it didn't, they weren't exclusive anymore, somebody's like, I'm gonna do that shit.
Don't let BioWare do it. Don't let they're no good no more.
No, they're no good no more in a long time.
So I don't know. I mean, like it would be, the thing is that KOTOR is one of those games that's just old enough and looks just crappy enough that like I don't want to play it again. There's not even mods to make it look better. It just kind of looks like, I mean, it's still a good game. It just looks really primitive now because it's got those kind of early 3D things.
It was an old Xbox game.
Yeah.
And then what I guess normal PC at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's nothing to make it look super nice. It's just like, you either look at weird polygon face or you don't. You just hope for the best.
Yeah. So I don't know. It would be nice. I've heard some rumors that, okay, like one, I've heard that it's a timed exclusive, so that at some point it will be on the other Xbox. And that it's possible they might even be taking parts of 1 and 2 and blending them together, which I think would be really weird, because 1 is a very complete story that you don't need to add anything to.
No, and 2 has a fairly good twist in it.
Yeah.
If you've never played 2, I'm not even going to say what it is.
I guess it would be interesting if they hooked them. They would never hook them together, though, right? They would all, I mean, like, this is such a big title. They would never give you 2 games. They would put out the first one, see how it did, and then charge you $60 for the second one if the first one does okay. So
in a money sense, that would be a smarter idea, but you never know with some devs.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. From there, we got a really weird trailer. I could not figure out what Project Eve was when I was watching it, because it looks like some kind of weird cross between like Devil May Cry and, you know what? I feel like we're seeing this. I think we saw this with Project Fist that you and I, or that Fist game that you and I played last week. I think that Unreal Engine is allowing like Asian dev studios to make really impressive looking games without a huge budget. And I think that's what this is, where like the art is all really great and the gameplay looks really pretty solid, but it's like a third person action game, and it looks like the Unreal Engine is doing a lot of the lifting when it comes to like the lighting and the the kind of character tech and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, because it's not only this that we've seen. Yeah, Fist. There's that one game that one person has made.
Yeah,
kind of thing. That sort of thing. And Unreal just gets easier and easier to use, and it actually kind of makes me happy because we're getting interesting things like this. Because, like 10 years ago, this dev would not have been able to make something look this good.
This would have taken Square Enix 5 years and $30 million to make or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it's funny because when I first saw it, I thought it might have been that Bright Memory game, which was another Unreal Engine game that was made using a kind of low budget. But yeah, I mean, the one thing with these types of games, though, is that a lot of times they end up being a little rough around the edges. Like, I actually noticed that playing Fist, where, like, the dialogue and some of the stuff is a little bit, like, it's just not quite as polished as I'm used to here.
Well, that's the trickiest thing, is that, like, it can look really good, but then, yeah, somebody starts talking, and you're like, oh.
or that there's
just like, you paid a guy $5 on Fiverr to read something.
Right. Or that there's just, like, mechanical stuff that's a little off base, right? That there's just things that we would expect to be a little smoother. But from this, I mean, it reminds me a lot of Bayonetta. There's like weird monster angels, and then there's like a lady main character that's doing a lot of like flips and flaps and floops and jumps and shit. And if it's good, it looks good. Like, I think it just comes down to like, we need to get our hands on it to see how it feels, because there's nothing about this is setting off any alarm bells, but we know that trailers like this can make a game look better than it is. So
yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, these games can look really good, but yeah, somebody starts talking, and then you play a game. You actually, like you said, you play the game, and then you feel the jank. You're like, oh no.
Yeah. So, but worth checking out. I mean, worth looking at. Like, it's very bombastic, very cool looking. I mean, to be honest, when I look at this, just from like looking at this trailer to me is like on par with like the trailers for like Devil May Cry 5. But you've got character action, third person, big monsters, bombastic kind of thing.
I'm not 100% with that, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's enough to be like, this could easily be a AAA game.
Yeah. Or, yeah, in years past. Let's see. From there, we got Tiny Tina's stupid Tiny Tina with, I don't know. Did you watch this trailer?
No.
What you're missing is,
it said Gearbox Presents, and I was like, I'm gonna skip this now.
What you missed was the soundtrack, which is Baby Metal playing in the background.
Neat,
which
I guess.
Kind of appropriate, given this. I don't know. I mean,
people like Baby Metal.
That's like Tiny Tina too. I'm not a fan, but also because it's this medieval fantasy thing, but then it's also just all the guns from Borderlands.
Well, that's the thing, is it's still Borderlands.
Yeah.
It's like, as much as it's trying to be this big fantasy thing, it's still Borderlands.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll play it and find out, but I'm not expecting all that much. So, I mean, I don't know. Plus,
I'm sure people will love it.
We're also like, after we get past KOTOR and that Project Eve and like the weird chess thing, it's like the middle of this show is just remasters or shit we already know about. Like,
yeah.
It isn't until we get to the last 5 or 10 minutes that we actually get some kind of like what stuff. So, the next thing on the list, actually, to be honest, this one was a little weird because we hadn't seen much of Forspoken. Terrible name. Terrible fucking name.
That's a weird fucking name.
I cannot remember this name at all.
I thought it was Forsaken when we were downstairs, but I guess I was wrong.
Forspoken is that Square Enix, and it's like this lady, and apparently it's like an isekai. Like, she gets bopped over to like a fantasy world, and like she's got this bracelet that's talking to her, and she's like, I can do flips, and I've got to figure out who dragged me into this world and stuff. And like, again, this is another one of those ones where I look at this and I'm just like, oh man, the development time for this would have been years in previous time, based on like the capture for the main character and the amount, once we get into the action, like the amount of like particle effects and kind of monster designs and parkour and stuff. But nowadays, like, I feel like a lot of this is because didn't we first hear about this at one of the Unreal things, or was it Square?
I think it was the Square thing. Like, it was a quick.
Okay.
It was a very, very quick thing.
Okay.
And then they're like, "Here's a game," and it was like this very quick thing, and then we forgot it existed.
Yeah.
Because it was so fast.
Yeah.
Now there's a bunch of stuff on it.
But it looks like a big open world kind of action game where you got a bunch of crazy powers.
Because I remember the Unreal presentation having like this woman walking around thing, but I don't think it was this I know of.
You know, it definitely wasn't, because we have a story about that later.
Really? Okay.
Yes. But I was worried. I was curious to know if this was. Maybe I just saw a Chevron or something where it was being like developed on the new Unreal Engine or something. But
I think it was one of those things where they announced like, "Hey, this is being made on Unreal," kind of thing.
But this one looks good. I mean, you know, kind of reminds me a little bit of what was the Platinum game? Scalebound.
Oh yeah,
No dragons.
Never came out. Yeah.
No dragons. Scalebound. But yeah, I don't know. This is apparently being made by the Final Fantasy 15 team, though. So who knows? Maybe it will be a horrible travesty like Final Fantasy 15.
I'm sure it'll be a thing. Hopefully.
Yeah. Let's see. After that, we got Rainbow Six, the Rainbow Six
zombie thing,
zombie mode. Aliens mode, quarantine or outbreak or whatever the fuck it was called.
The name of it, to be honest.
I could care less about this game. I really just don't ask me to do it. Internet, I can't do it. If our Patreon gets high enough, I'll pretend to care. But like
Extraction, that's what it was called.
Let's see. After that, we got Alan Wake is coming out in 4K.
Yeah,
and is going to be on the PlayStation for the first time.
That's the
never
thing.
was.
It was only a 360 game, and it was
then the PC
very difficult to get for a while because I think at one point they took it off of the store.
Oh, okay.
Like that was one of the reasons I bought that Quantum Break that came with the free copy of it and its DLC.
Yeah,
I don't know if they ever put it back on the store. They probably did by now, but
I think, you know, the kind of the shame of it, I'm not entirely sure. It's hard to tell from this trailer because the lighting in Alan Wake was always very severe. But it would be really interesting if they were to have used the ray tracing functions on the PS5 to do the lighting, considering how much light ties into what's going on in the game. But this game is old enough that it probably would have required like a really massive overhaul in order to redo the lighting or something like that.
Yeah, I'm curious just how much remaster they did to it.
Yeah.
Like from what I see here, it just looks like a nicer version of the original so far.
I think that's what it is. I mean, it's just like a 4K up-resed, cleaned up version of OG Alan Wake.
I have no issues with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like Alan Wake. I just like Remedy in general.
I'm neutral on Alan Wake. I mean, how are you going to be the biggest fan of Alan Wake when Control exists? Control is a better game. It's a better game.
No, that's fair.
It's a better game.
Plus, it's got him dancing.
Yep.
And that weird thing at the
end. October 5th, this is coming out.
It's a lot sooner than I thought.
Mm-hmm. We got an ad for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, guys, Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming. I don't fucking care anymore.
Third time. They do bring up a good point about how switching between the characters will happen way faster now, right? Because you're on the PlayStation 5.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
If you're playing the single player story, if you haven't yet played the single player story, if you've gone through 2 console generations and haven't yet played the story of Grand Theft Auto 5, I highly recommend it. Go play it.
It's
great.
A
good story.
I actually wouldn't mind playing it again, to be honest, and maybe doing one of the different endings. I don't know.
Yep. You can do it in first person whole time.
Oh, yeah, there's a VR. You can do it in VR now.
I don't think you can do it in VR. I don't think it has VR support.
What?
Grand Theft Auto 5?
Does it not have VR support for the PlayStation?
No.
That's weird.
No.
I thought it did.
I don't think the frame rate was ever high enough to be able to do that.
Well, maybe it can now. It's on PS5. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so.
They should try that.
I think there's some mods to do it on like the PC, but I don't think they've ever had official VR support for it. I could be wrong about that, though.
I'd have to look at that.
We saw some more Ghostwire Tokyo. This is actually a much longer trailer than what we normally see for
it. Also showed a lot more of what the game's about.
Yeah. There's something still a little weird about this game. Like I would like to see like an extended gameplay segment of it, because the movement still looks like it's on rails to me. Like the movement of the character whenever they show action in the game is so smooth that it looks like it's just very much on a track. I'm not saying that's the case, but like it always, there's something about the way that the gameplay looks that makes it seem to me very on rails.
No, I get it, because every motion is him walking forward for the most part.
Right.
There's a couple of him walking backwards. I think I saw a dodge in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I can kind of see that. I don't think it will be, but I could guess why you would think that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I want to check it out. Definitely, like Evil Within 2, loved it. So
yeah, I was a big fan. I was a big fan of the idea of whatever this would be, and seeing the more I see on it though, the more I'm like, oh, it just looks like it's going to be kind of a shooter kind of thing though.
A slightly generic.
Yeah, so I'm a little worried about it now, but I will see how it is once it comes out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So let's see. From there, we got what do we get next? We got Guardians of the Galaxy, which I don't know if you watched this trailer, but it showed like a lot more.
I did actually.
A lot more different stuff. Cosmo, the fucking Russian dog, is in there. I like
telepathic dog.
Yep. Did we know that Mantis was in there before? Because we saw Mantis briefly in one of the.
I think we saw her in one of the covers, but I don't think we ever saw her like in the other gameplay things.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a big butt rock like story and action trailer, and it looks great, and I cannot wait to play this game. I still can't believe it exists.
Oh, 100%. And I'm curious as to what the actual plot of it is. Like, there's some more hints as to what it is, but I don't really know the main arcing part of it.
Yeah,
because it could be chapters for all I know.
It also looks like there's like some space sim parts of it, some flying parts of it.
Oh, okay.
Just really briefly, I was actually thinking like Guardians of the Galaxy has this game. It has the Telltale game, right?
Oh yeah.
And then like the Guardians have been in a lot of like they were in the Disney Infinity 2.0.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The Guardians of the Galaxy
because they're in that. They're in Ultimate Alliance 3.
I feel like the Guardians have gotten a lot of play, man,
yeah,
for
actually
being some obscure characters. So
thanks to James Gunn and his weirdness.
Yeah.
Everyone now knows who fucking Rocket Raccoon is.
It's very strange. From there, we got another look at that stupid Vampire the Masquerade not MOBA, Battle Royale, Blood Hunt. What's interesting about Blood Hunt is actually Blood Hunt is already out as we're recording this on the PC, free to play in early access. So I think this looks woefully idiotic and like a really bad idea. Like the impression that I get from people that are into Vampire the Masquerade is not that they're into like going online in teams of 3 and trying to become winner chicken dinner.
No,
like
it's not really what they're known for. Unless there's a What We Do in the Shadow skin pack, I'm probably not going to deal with this thing.
Yeah, when they announced this, I said in the Discord, I said the only vampires I care about are Nadia, Laszlo, and Nandor.
Yeah, if there's a Nandor skin, I might try it out. I'm just especially if it's voiced by him.
No, it'd be great as if you had those skins, but then they didn't have any guns. And they're just when you hit the buttons, they just bicker with each other. That's
exactly. No, I'd be so on board for that.
They only have really bad powers. Like Laszlo could put on the witch hat that makes everything go wrong, and like Nandor, you put on the cape that makes you look like Nandor, but like that's the only thing it does. So
man, if you could be Laszlo and you could just transform into a bat and he yells out "bat," I would just do that. I would do that for like an hour.
But what if you could have a team? What if you could have a team that was Guillermo, the college student girl that Nadia turns in the first season, and Colin Robinson?
I would play that shit out of that. That just sounds great.
That would be the worst. Or maybe
Guillermo would be the one carrying that team. Is all I would say.
Or maybe instead of Colin Robinson, if you wanted, I guess if you wanted like all, you could have Guillermo, Craig Robinson from season 2, and I don't know.
Maybe you get the Derek, the guy who dies.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying we should be virgins. There, we should just have sex with each other. That way, we're not virgins with the vampires.
No.
Derek, stop fucking doing that.
The third one should be what's his name that dies in the season 2 that was Nadia and Laszlo's familiar.
Oh, fucking Haley Joel Osment's character.
Yeah. Darren, was it Darren or something like that?
I forgot. He yells
his name all the time.
Yeah, I just don't remember it anymore.
High five!
Yeah.
High five!
High five. And his arm falls off. Such a good fucking episode.
Sorry. What We Do in the Shadows is great. If you're not watching it, you should go watch it immediately.
It's all on Hulu. Watch the whole thing.
All on
Hulu. It's great. It's better than the movie, hands down.
100%. If you were like, the movie, yeah. Deathloop got another big trailer. I mean, fucking Deathloop is out momentarily. So
really soon, yeah.
Like,
if, as you're listening to this, it'll be like 2 days.
Yeah. The next thing was this really strange thing, and I felt like everybody when we were watching this, we were just like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was like, "Is this Control? Is this like Dead Space? What is this?" This is called Kid Amnesia, and it's like a Radiohead art like thing you walk around in, devoted to the Kid A album that was made inside of the PlayStation.
The fuck?
Yeah, like
what?
Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, what game is this?" And it's no game is the answer.
This is some nonsense.
It's a Radiohead exhibition.
Cool? Question mark?
No, it's not cool. It's fine. But normally we don't have trailers in the middle of one of these shows for something like that. So, let's see. From there, we got another trailer for Chia, which is that kind of like Animal Crossing island thing, but it's the one where you get to like go into the crabs and the birds and stuff.
Oh, okay.
You get to like Mario Odyssey.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, which looks fine. I mean, like I think I said before, I think it looks fine. I mean, it's a more interesting idea than some of the other ones that are kind of based on a similar.
Oh, I hope there's
thing.
bats in it so I can just yell at bat and then turn into a bat. Sorry, you guys should watch What We Do in the Shadows.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves is getting a collection that it's Uncharted 4 and Uncharted 4 The Lost to Golden Compass, or
the Lost Levels. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, whatever the fuck
Legacy,
it's called. Yeah. That's fine. I don't have. I mean, it looks like
it looks like those games. Yeah.
Some of these PS4 games, like we were watching this Death Stranding trailer that we'll get to, and like some of these games were like they looked incredible on the PS4, and then they show you footage of what they look like on the PS5, and you're like, it already looked as good as I could imagine. Like, how could it look any better?
Yeah, I don't see those. Like, Uncharted 4 was one of the most realistic games I've ever looked at in my entire life.
Yeah,
and that's like, and that was pretty good, like mid PS4 era.
Yeah, mid to late, mid 60% of the way through, maybe something like that.
So I don't know. That's weird that they would do that, but sure, I guess.
Yeah. The Lost Legacy, Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy being remastered. And they're also coming to PC, I guess. Well, that's a big.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a big thing. So, all right, let's go for some real big things here. Insomniac is making a new Marvel game. It is not Spider-Man 2. It is the Wolverine.
Yeah.
It is Wolverine. Michael, tell me your thoughts as the biggest Spider-Man fan of all time. What did you think when you saw this trailer about Wolverine?
I was actually kind of amazed that this was happening.
Yeah,
because Wolverine is a character that like people have made games on, but they're always very meh.
Yeah,
for the most part. Like my favorite Wolverine game, I've brought this up to many people, was Wolverine X-Men Origins. It was one of the most violent superhero games I've ever played in my life. But that's the reason why it's so good, because it lets Wolverine be fucking greedy as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people are wondering about this one, because Insomniac did a great fucking job with Spider-Man. So people were expecting him to do a good job with Wolverine, but how far are they able to go with how good he's the best he is at what he does, but how far can they do about what he's good at?
Well, he does have a lot of blood on his hands, and there's blood on the bar, and there's a lot of blood in this short teaser. So, or there is blood.
Yeah.
It's not completely bloodless. So, we're not. Which one was the movie where they took out all the blood? Was that X-Men? It was where he fights the silver
Wolverine. I think it was the
Wolverine.
Yeah,
and it was just hacking and slashing Yakuzas all day long, and not a single drop of blood was spilt that day.
Yeah, that's why the R-rated version of it is the better cut of it. For the most part,
I'll be interested. It's interesting to see Insomniac working on more than one game. So
especially a new Marvel thing, because I'm also wondering, is it going to tie into their
Spider-Man?
Universe? Yeah, their Spider-Man universe.
Oh man, are they building up to Insomniac's X-Men?
The Insomniac CU,
new Avengers?
I don't know.
Wait, what was the team that had Spider-Man and Wolverine and Ghost Rider and Hulk?
That was the new Fantastic Four.
New Fantastic Four. Oh my God! What if they built up to New Fantastic Four?
I'd be cool with that.
I would really love to play an Insomniac Ghost Rider game. To be honest,
I would too. Actually,
they did such a good job with the traversal in Spider-Man that I'd totally play it. I've never been the biggest Wolverine fan, but I'm a huge Insomniac fan. So just like Spider-Man is not my favorite character of all time, but that Spider-Man video game fucking slaps, man.
Absolutely.
Like, I love it. So I'll play it. I'll play the Wolverine. Let's see. From there, We're going to skip over 5 minutes worth of cars, unless you have anything to say about Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo is a game that exists.
Hey,
people are happy about that.
Cars look really good, y'all. Gran Turismo 7 has a lot of cars, and they look real good. And
hooray!
They look real good.
Are they barely at 7? That's surprising, actually.
Well, they don't put one out every year, right? They always take like 4 or 5 years, and then
it takes a long time in between Gran Turismos.
Well, they used to take their time because they were like the best game in town, and now like Grid and Forza and that shit, they're just eating their lunch.
Yeah.
So
I remember the joke about, I think it was 5 or 6 that it took forever to come out because they announced it on one console, and I don't think it came out until the next console.
Wasn't the PS4 one the like free to play download one or whatever? I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't keep up with the stuff.
I'd be surprised.
Hey, look, it's cars. They look real good. The cars look real good.
Got
the cars,
photo mode.
They look real good. The cars, real good.
There should be a Lightning McQueen mod.
Fuck a bunch of that. Oh my god, how much do I have to skip through this? All right. Then we had the other Insomniac Marvel game. Oh shit.
We had the money shot.
Okay, so let me ask you. Oh no, you didn't watch this live.
I didn't.
I would have been really interested to know what your thoughts would have been if you'd seen Wolverine, if you saw the Insomniac logo and the Marvel logo and then saw Wolverine and you'd be like, "Ah, I guess Spider-Man 2 is still a little ways out." And then like one trailer later, they're like, Spider-Man 2 is also coming out.
That's the funniest thing. I was working when this entire thing happened.
Yeah.
So I had no idea this. I had forgot because I was so busy. And then all of a sudden you message me being like, you get all the good things.
You get everything you want.
I'm like, what's happening? And then after you message me, like 5 other people message me and they're like, so Spider-Man. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And so finally during my lunch break, I finally watched the trailer for it. And I was like, oh, yay, more Spider-Man. But I was a little bummed because I didn't find out about it organically.
Yeah.
I had everyone and my grandma essentially messaging me being like, hey, Spider-Man.
I thought that might have happened to you, which is why I just said that cryptic thing. But I also knew that you probably were going to have a lot of people just like telling you things.
I had a lot of people.
So
I had one guy just message me Craven. That was all he messaged me.
Okay, in this trailer we can see that it's both Peter and Miles, which is cool.
Yeah.
We hear this voiceover. You're thinking that that's Craven.
No, it's absolutely Craven.
Okay.
Because I think that's Steve Bloom's Craven because he does that. He's done it a few times now.
Okay. But then at the end, it's like the voice is answered by Venom. Is there a version of Craven that is the Venom Craven?
There is, actually.
Oh,
but
shit.
That's from Life Story. That was a very recent thing. I don't think that's what it is, though.
You think it's like Venom and Craven?
I think Craven is after Spider-Man, but he's probably having this like long monologue.
Yeah.
And then Venom hears about the monologue and he's like, no, I'll help you fuck this thing up. I'll help you fuck some shit up.
Okay.
Kind of thing. That's the idea. Apparently, I don't know if this is true, but people keep saying it, that Tony Todd is supposed to be voicing Venom.
I didn't hear Tony Todd when I heard that, but
I didn't either. That's the thing. I had 3 or 4 different people be like, Tony Todd's voice is Venom. I'm like, I didn't have time to look it up, so I have no fucking idea if that's true or not.
I was really hoping they were going to do the thing where Dr. Octopus becomes Spider-Man. I guess that's not a thing anymore. Also,
it could still happen. You don't know.
2023 Spider-Man?
Yeah, 2023. So plenty of time for you guys to try to find PS5s.
Yep.
And hopefully the PS5 will be easy to get by then.
We didn't get any kind of date on that Wolverine game, right? It was just nebulous future.
It was just like, we're making this bitch.
Yeah. And then I thought that was the end. I thought there were 40 minutes and they were done, but nope. We finally got that God of War.
Yeah, Kratos and the all teenaged up
boy.
Atreus, yeah,
the boy.
He started speaking. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You're becoming a man.
Well, I guess, but the thing is that like at the end of the previous game, they just go home and go to sleep, and then it's like, what do they just like sleep for 10 years and then they wake up?
I don't know, because part of the ending thing they had with the Thor is used in the footage they had here. So it's like, that's interesting. That's why I was surprised by Atreus' voice. But then I forgot. It's like, yeah, but the actor himself's aged, so they have to.
I have 2 things about this. This trailer looks like more God of War, and I am just fine. If this is just more God of War, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I would literally play more of that. We saw Mimir. We see what's her face?
Freya.
Freya.
Really upset with you.
Yeah. There's some like talking about Odin. We got some Thor in there.
You see the twins.
It's nice to see that Atreus is still a whiny little bitch muffin. Like And at the end of this trailer, like this is a whole action-packed trailer, but the most dramatic part is Papa Kratos just being like, "Shut the fuck up! You don't even know what you're fucking talking about. Stop it!
You gotta take it like a general. Last time I thought like a general, I wore my family as skin.
Yeah, I destroyed the entire world several times, actually.
I can do it again. If you fucking dare me to, boy.
So there's a few things in here. I feel like some of the what the traversal with the chains, that's new, right?
Yeah, there wasn't really that. The chains were mostly just a murder weapon.
So
before,
but then the other thing is that they held back a lot of what happens in God of War so that it was very nice to play. So I'm curious that this is a very story heavy trailer, but I'm not entirely unconvinced that like this is all not represented in the first 25% of the game, and that halfway through the game, like something crazy happens. Like they could pull a Raiden where Kratos dies or is captured or something, and you play as Atreus for like the second half of the game.
Well, they absolutely could. Even the fourth God of War had that thing where you had no idea the blades were even going to come into play.
Yeah, or Atreus's identity at the end. Like
everybody's like fucking all the reveals, man. That game is full of just crazy reveals.
Yeah.
Although there's a reveal at the end of this that I was kind of like,
I would have liked to have seen that,
but that would have been cool to happen in game.
Yeah.
But okay, sure.
But it looks sharp as hell. It's another one of those ones I feel like where the PS4 version looked really, really good, and so this version it looks really, really good.
Yeah.
But like when a AAA studio brings their AAA game, I feel like comparing it to the PS5 version here in the early days of that console generation, the difference is not exactly night and day. It's not like, oh my God. Like if you had told me that this was a trailer for the PS4 version, I would have been like, wow, oh, okay, cool. 10 years, they really got that shit figured out.
Yeah, I actually would not have been, like, after playing it with you and then playing it by myself, I actually would not have been surprised if that was like a PS4 version of it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. And that was it. That was a showcase. And like I said, at the beginning, in the end, and in the middle, there's just a lot of like,
That's neat.
Especially, I mean, look, man, I know there are driving game fans, but they spent like 5 minutes on that Gran Turismo between Wolverine and Spider-Man, and I'm just like, God damn it, guys.
They do that every time with any race, like any place that announces anything racing related.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this for like 30 minutes.
I started skipping over the 15 minutes of Forza they put at the end of everything Microsoft does.
Most people have.
Yep.
I think that's why they put it at the end now, just so people will be like, I guess I can stop now.
Yep. There's also a shitload of developer interviews and other things, but like we're recording this hours after this has happened, so like I haven't had a chance to look through all of it. But I don't know. All said and done, like I guess here's the thing. All said and done, it looks like a good lineup. It looks like it's mostly happening in 2022. The exclusive stuff is only. Well, I guess what Deathloop is actually an exclusive, right?
I think so,
because it was a PS5 exclusive being put on the PlayStation by Bethesda, which is now owned by Microsoft. So technically, Xbox is publishing a PS5 exclusive.
Was it not a timed one? I could have sworn it was a timed one or something.
I think it is timed, but I'm not sure. But like when you think about the rest of the year, I guess is there anything else that's like a PS5 exclusive that's coming this year?
I don't think I can think of that's like full on exclusive. Like Alan Wake is one of the only other things I know that's supposed to come out this year now.
I don't even know if that one's exclusive.
I don't think so either. I'm just that's what I said. It's the only thing I can think of that's even coming out.
Except for 2021.
That hasn't come out already.
Yeah. Forged and Shadow Torch was a PS5 exclusive.
Was it really?
Well, it was a PlayStation exclusive. Deathloop, Ghost of Tsushima, that cat game.
Oh, Stray.
Goodbye Volcano High, which got pushed to 2022. Forged and Shadow Torch. Kena, Bridge of Spirits. I thought that got pushed back as well, but I'm not sure.
This list might be old.
The Death Stranding Director's Cut and Horizon Forbidden West. So
yeah, this is definitely an old list because that also got pushed to 2022.
Well, speaking of Horizon Forbidden West, last week we got the 9 different versions of Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people were real mad about was that the only way to buy a PS4 copy that would then work on your PlayStation 5 was you had to buy the $80 version. There was no upgrade path from the PS4 to the PS5. This literally got this news. We got scooped. Bryce and I got the scoops because they announced this change on Sunday, the day the podcast went up, and I'm not about to go in and excise 20 minutes worth of talking about a thing, but they changed it. So for Horizon Forbidden West, because at some point Sony made a vague gesture in the direction. I need to read what this
says. It wasn't even a vague gesture. When they first announced it, somebody outright said, "No worry, there's going to be an upgrade path."
Yeah,
they outright said there was supposed to be one.
Well, no.
And they're like, "We're not going to do it now." It's like, fuck you guys.
Not that. There's this idea that I've heard that that.
Is it the $10 thing?
No. That all the PlayStation 4 games were supposed to be upgraded for free. I swear to God that I've heard. Anyway, here we go.
I don't know about all of them, but I remember them first saying that. Yeah.
Jim Ryan said in a Washington Post in 2020 that there will be free cross-gen upgrades. So here's the quote: "No one should be disappointed," Ryan said. "The PS5 versions of those games are built from the ground up to take advantage of PS5 feature set, and we have an upgrade path for PS4 users to get the PS5 version for free." Okay, so and that was specifically talking about Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
So anyway. Whole 9 yards here. They went back and they said, if you get the PS4 version, we get the PS5 version for free. And moving forward, anything that you buy on the PS4 will have a first-party Sony games on the PS4 will have a $10 upgrade path to get to the PS5 version. Basically making up the difference between $60 PS4 versions and $70 PS5 versions, or else everybody would just buy the fucking PS4 version and get the free upgrade. I think that's good. I do have a little bit of I'm still a little baffled, and I think that I had this question a lot last generation. I feel like early on in a new consoles generation, especially with the limited amount that these consoles are available, I'm curious to know how much we expect a free upgrade path to a new console.
It wasn't really a thing before this point.
Well, I feel like in the PS4 era, there was a lot of stuff right at the cusp, right at the PS3, PS4, like Assassin's Creed. You put the PS3 disc into the PS4 and it would validate and give you the PS4 version for free.
Was that a thing? I don't remember that being a thing.
Yep, because I did it. But that I feel like a lot of people expect there to be a free upgrade path. And I'm not necessarily against that. It's just, I guess the expectation, I guess I feel like whenever we straddle generations, that there's always a little bit of there's a year or two worth of and you can upgrade it and it's going to be free. You can have the next gen version. And then eventually that shit just gets cut off and we're just no, you have to buy it. You don't get it for free.
Eventually it's just no longer a thing. It's look, if you don't have it by now, just go fuck off kind of thing.
Right. But I don't know. I mean, $10 upgrade path from PS4 to PS5, that's great. It means you can keep buying PS4 stuff. You can plan on buying a PS5. You can go pay $10 a game and get an upgrade.
Yeah, you're just basically, it's that extra 10 that they're going to charge you anyways if you bought the new one.
Yeah.
Or the PS5 one.
It would be nice if they did something like if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, you get it for free or something like that.
That would be nice, but
it's like an incentive.
Sony's a crazy person, though.
Yeah, Sony is terrible at, it goes back to a thing we talked about many times where I just don't understand where I was talking about this last week with Bryce, where I'm how do these companies, when they're number two, they work hard and they figure it out and they make it easy, and when they're number one, they just lose their fucking minds and they just become crazy. How is the buying the PS5 version or the PS4 version still so fucking hard on the PlayStation, whereas on the Xbox it's just a smart delivery? It's we just give you the one for the console that you are playing on.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking easy. You just don't even have to think about it at all. And the PlayStation 1, it's you got to go to the dots. You got to figure out which version. I got to transfer my saves from the cloud to the PlayStation 4 version and then do the transfer save option and then put that and then import them into and it's what is this?
That's a pain in the ass.
It is 2021.
I've done it with at least 2 or 3 games now.
It happened with Avengers.
Crash Bandicoot had it.
Yeah.
I don't think Mortal Kombat did.
Did Ghost of Tsushima have it?
I haven't upgraded that, so I don't know idea.
I think it did but I didn't have a save game to transfer, so
that makes sense. Yeah. I haven't tried it yet, so.
Oh no, wait, that's true. It does, because I remember that I started playing Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4 version on the PS5, and then when the PS5 version came out, I had to transfer the 10% of the game PS4 version over, so I didn't have to replay at the beginning. All right, we got some more Sony news, and then we're going to probably take a break. So first, let's see. Sony acquired Firesprite, which is the studio that made the Playroom and Sackboy Run. I don't know which game that is.
I don't know. I don't actually. Is that the name of the Sackboy game?
Run Sackboy Run.
I don't think that was the name of the thing I'm thinking of. That's weird. I don't know what that is then.
It's probably like a phone game. And also The Persistence. Do you remember The Persistence?
No.
Oh, it was this weird like zombie System Shock thing that started as a PSVR game, and then they came out with like a not PSVR version. It's weird and janky.
Did not know that.
Anyway, the Playroom was great. So if they had any part of that, then cool.
That's neat.
But yeah, this is like the very slow version of Sony acquiring studios, where it's like we got these guys and we got Housemarque, and meanwhile Microsoft's like, we bought Bethesda. It's like, oh, cool.
We're still Microsoft and we still have fuck tons of money.
We bought Tim Schafer. Like
we bought everyone.
So,
and then the second that happened, they're like, Insomniac, you want us to hang out more? They're like, I guess.
I think that Sony needs to start. They need to I think that they need to get on. This is the new thing, right? Is buying third-party studios to make first-party exclusives, because like we're still in the interim of Microsoft ramping into that.
Yeah.
But Starfield is going to be a fucking console exclusive. Like,
well, dude, they bought a shit ton of fucking developers.
Psychonauts
They bought so many of them.
Is an exclusive, right?
Is it?
No.
It might be. I don't know. I know the first one isn't. Because the first one is on my PS4.
Anyway, like Sony needs to get on that shit, man. Because like again, the games that they showed off on that thing are great, but they're coming out next year mostly. Like,
yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, it's on everything. Psychonauts 2 is on everything. So
okay.
I think this is the second week in a row I've had to check that.
It's on Game Pass though, so.
I don't normally do this. I normally talk about Game Pass, but I don't normally talk about the like games, PS Plus games. But Hitman 2 is on PlayStation Plus, and you motherfuckers better go download it. It's the best one in the franchise. It's so fucking good. Just go get it. God damn it! Don't make me come over there. I will.
I almost laughed because I didn't see the comma, so I was like, "Is Hitman 2 called Overcooked now?"
Hitman 2 Overcooked. Yeah, Hitman 2, Overcooked, and Predator Hunting Grounds are the September games. So.
That means I don't have to buy the Predator game because I thought about it for a while. But
Hitman 2, Michael!
I'm probably never going to play it, to be honest.
Michael.
Not the Hitman thing, the Predator thing.
Hitman 2. Everybody get Hitman 2 for fuck's sake. Think about it this way. You get Hitman 2, and then when you get Hitman 3, it's like you transfer all the Hitman 2 levels into Hitman 3, and it look really good.
Neat.
So, yeah. Let's see. We also got... Oh no! Okay, now we're out of Sony into the fucking Avengers. You know what? We'll go through some of these. The Avengers put out their roadmap for what's going on in 2021. There's one thing on there. There's one thing, that is interesting. Everything else is really uninteresting.
Everything else is really just like, really, guys?
We're bringing back the Red Room or the fucking corrupted vibranium.
Yeah, they're doing a raid, an actual raid.
Claw raid. There's a Disney Plus Hawkeye nameplate challenge.
Yeah, that's literally one of the entries on this fucking roadmap.
One of them just says earnable cosmetics. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Fucking, what are you talking about?
We haven't had those in a while, to be honest.
Outfits inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe is all the way across the bottom, and it's just, again, like, no shit, Sherlock. You should have. This should have been day one. But Spider-Man's on here.
Yeah.
Fall/winter. Spider-Man.
New hero event, Spider-Man. Now, and it's got a PlayStation system on it to let you remember this is only on the PlayStation, so fuck the rest of you, apparently.
Are there plans, though, with Spider-Man? Is he supposed to have a story mode?
That's what they said when they first announced that he was going to be in it.
Yeah.
They're like they wanted to like make something unique for it. I remember them saying that, but that was before everything went to shit. So who knows now?
They're just like, fine, here's your Spider-Man, God damn it.
Yeah, because I remember the first time they talked about it, they're like, we're really excited. We're going to like have our own Spider-Man thing. We want to make this robust story to just not have him be like a thing that's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, if you look at this fucking roadmap, you're like, I don't know now.
Outside of that, it looks like garbage. I mean,
honestly, if you go to the subreddit for Avengers, it's just a lot of people being like, dude, seriously?
Yeah.
Like my favorite's that meme where it's like the person with the sign was like, our expectations were pretty low, but what the fuck?
Yeah. So there's a new enemy type Echoes.
I guess. Neat.
Is that like an aim bot with a different skin on top of
Probably,
it? Or
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It frustrates everybody because a lot of us really want this game to be really good.
Yeah.
And they're just not seeing more than we would like to. Like the Wakanda thing was great. I'm happy all that stuff happened, but we were really hoping that roadmap would have some, good chunk in it.
They need to put something out every month. They need to put something out to bring people back every month. And I realize that's difficult, and I realize what I'm asking for, but like the thing is that this game is on a downward trajectory.
Oh, 100%.
So like if you want it to go back around, you are going to have to invest. Like what this seems to me, what this screams to me, what this content roadmap screams to me is like this is the roadmap you would see for a successful video game. But this is not a successful video game.
Yeah.
You've put the number of resources onto this game as if this game did good and just needs like a development staff that's just, they're putting out new stuff. They're working on a thing every 3 or 4 months. They're going to put out some new content, like maybe something to bring them back. Change this, add this, maybe twice a year you'll get like a big story push, but for the most part it's going to be, here's a little thing here, here's a little thing there. That is not what this game needs.
No,
It needs like a big fucking wow factor, especially because Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out. Fucking Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, Midnight Suns, which is next up on the list.
Yeah.
Like, you are not the only game in town anymore, motherfucker.
No, yeah.
This is like when you play Battlefront because there's no other Star Wars games, and then like suddenly there's going to be a bunch of new Star Wars games. It's like you're actually going to have to compete, and this is not going to stand up to competition. Like, sorry. I mean, I know that people like it, but I'm just talking about from the overall number of people that are playing the game. If it is an online multiplayer game and there are not people playing it, then like that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
like, they keep talking about like we want this thing to last forever. Like it's like that Rick and Morty thing. It's like 100 years or whatever.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, but you're not giving me enough for me to even think that's possible.
Yeah. This is like the prospect of 100 episodes of Crow Rick. Like,
oh, geez,
no thanks. That's all right.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to talk about more Marvel superheroes when we come back. So stick around. It's time for more Marvel superheroes. I promised more Marvel superheroes.
Yes.
I'm about to deliver more Marvel superheroes. Last week, we got the big presentation on Midnight Suns, and this week we got a 20-minute walkthrough of Wolverine and Sabretooth and the Hunter and all this stuff. Michael, what did you think? Did you watch that one last week? Did you watch the big presentation last week where they talked about it?
I meant to. I just never did.
Okay. Are you? I think you were. Were you on when this was originally announced? This was Gamescom, right?
Yeah, I was on when they first announced this thing, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
per se. Like we knew it was being made by the XCOM people, and then you showed me the actual gameplay of it today,
and you were like,
and I was like, oh, it's a card system.
Yep.
Which I'm terrible at in video games for some reason. I've never been good at card systems in games, like in video games. Like if it's a board game and I have them physically in my hand, I could probably figure that shit out.
Okay.
But for some reason, I never figured it out with games.
So, yeah, they showed more of it. They showed kind of, because a lot of it previously was kind of sizzle trailer stuff, and they actually showed more like in-depth what's going on. It looks like it is a very different system than XCOM. It is card-based, and it's like a certain number of kind of card plays, a certain number of moves, certain number of draws. There's some tactical movement. In fact, there's a lot of like pushing enemies into other enemies, making them explode. It kind of reminds me more of like... FTL or FTL.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of like pushing, like positional movement, stuff like that. I think it looks really good. Like there's some stuff here that looks interesting. I still really like the fact, like, okay, graphically speaking, it's like not, it's not the best looking game in the entire world, but it's definitely serviceable for what it's doing.
Yeah.
And it looks like a really interesting strategy game. Like it's not like Firaxis is making an action game. They're making a fucking weird card-based, turn-based strategy game based on the Midnight Suns. So
it's the thing. It's like it's not a game. Like it's a game that if you started saying in a sentence to somebody like 10 years ago, to be like, "What the fuck are you saying?"
Right.
Like that is a goddamn Mad Lib, sir.
Yeah. So, and then it's really weird too because they show like a cut scene. Well, it's funny, Wolverine coming in, and they did make this really brief note, and I thought this was really this is really crazy, where they're like, "Oh, here's where Wolverine joins your team. It's pretty early on," and then the guy's like, "Actually, no, it's about 12 hours in, so it's a big game, you guys," which is a question from last week. But there's kind of this kind of opening that shows Sabretooth like attacking the Hunter and then having Wolverine show up and then having them have like a fight.
I just noticed Sabretooth's tagline, and it's such a fucking shade on him.
The second best thing there is at what he does. Yeah, and then Wolverine shows up and it says the best there is at what he does. So I really think this is cool. Like later on they show this fight, and it's interesting to see kind of the nitty-gritty mechanics. I wish more games would show this stuff. Later on they show more of the like hub where you're like walking around in the little citadel, kind of talking to the various heroes and doing different things. There's a dog, you can pet it. There's a dog which you can pet. So
dog petting action.
Yep, you can walk around. There's a point where the main character like goes outside and picks like a mushroom, so it's like a reagent. I'm sure there's like a crafting system going on in there too. I'm all into it. I'm super into it. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I know they put a lot of emphasis on character interactions, so I'm sure it's going to have a lot of good fun with that.
I'm wondering about how much there's going to be. Jesus, I wonder. Somebody just wrote a lot in the Discord server.
Okay.
So I'm wondering how long it is, and I'm wondering how much replay value there's going to be, because a lot of times, if there's like. You can really only get close to a certain number of people, or you're going to be able to max everybody out like you can kind of in Mass Effect. But I'm into it. Like I'm into the kind of the creativity. I'm into the doing something different. So, all right, enough fun stuff. It's time to talk about the heavy stuff. Well, sort of. So,
this thing. Okay.
Yeah. Last week, John Gibson, the CEO of Tripwire Interactive, who you've probably seen, he was in like the early PC gaming shows because Tripwire was always there and he would show up and talk to people.
Just constantly there.
He put out a tweet. Saying that he was very much in favor of Texas's brand new abortion law, and he was super psyched about it. He said, as an entertainer, I don't get political often, yet with so many vocal peers on the other side of the issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life game developer. So, I'll give you all a second to think about what probably happened next. Was it A, real good stuff, B, a really reasonable discourse online, or C, a total shit inferno, which obviously it's C.
Yeah.
So the first thing that happened was there was God, I picked the wrong article for this. One of the studios that was working with Tripwire immediately like canceled their project. It wasn't Torn Banner because that's the Chivalry 2 guys, but there's another studio that was working with them that immediately was just like, nope, not doing that. And then the Torn Banner from Chivalry 2 put out a tweet saying they did not agree. Shipwright Studios canceled the contract. Torn Banner put out a thing saying they did not agree. And then like 24 hours later, it was announced that he was basically stepping down as CEO of Tripwire.
Because it's great when you're like, hey, I'm specifically pro-life. You are also the CEO of a giant corporation where many of the other people will be like, that's not a thing where we are. So no.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about this in a number of different ways. My first thought about this is the same thought that I always have, where like if you decide that you want to say something, if you want to Because if you go to this guy's Twitter account, it's all just like promotion for the various games. And like, I'm super excited. Oh, there's Maneater DLC coming out. And just like right in the middle is this very specific. It's not like this guy runs a very political Twitter and like you knew what you were getting into. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Like there's some stuff that was a little bordering on, you know, just general political support for things that are vaguely popular. But this just kind of like whomp. Like it was big out of nowhere. Yeah. So if this guy honestly believed in this and thought that this was very important to do, one option would have been you're going to say this and then you're going to get backlash and then you're just going to have to eat the backlash, because not only did these things happen, but also you had a number of people roasting them on Twitter. You had people that were saying they're never going to buy any Tripwire games again, people that wanted a refund on their Tripwire games. You know, the internet went nuts. That's what fucking happens, man. So if you thought that like that was a reasonable thing and you wanted to stick to your guns, this guy could have stuck to his guns. Now, that probably would have meant a pretty big financial hit for Tripwire. They probably would have had staff that left. They probably would have had, you know, they had one partnership canceled. I'm sure that Torn Banner, I get the impression that Torn Banner was probably like, we're not going to say right now that we're disassociating with you, but like, what are you going to do about this flaming shitstorm? Your answer will determine what we do next.
100%.
Type of thing.
Like there was so many streamers that play a lot of these games. One of them is like so popular that he has his own banner in fucking Chivalry 2 kind of thing. And he was like, well, I'm not going to like tell them to take it down yet, but we're going to see what happens first. Yeah. And that's very much what was going on here. Like, what was this, the statement again that he has?
I read half of it. It was
no, like hold on. I'm just the last part where it says it's important to go on record as a pro-life game developer. The way he words that makes it seem like the entirety of the company is that way,
right?
And that's really the issue, is the way look, I'm not pro-life or anything kind of thing. Like it's just that his dumbass worded it in such a specific way that he accidentally encompassed the company, and then everyone lost their shit. Of course, which they should have, you know, because that's not what they want. Mm-hmm. And this is the reason everybody else like that shipwright got out of there, kind of thing. Like he opened his mouth and everyone else acted accordingly, like you said.
It's kind of, I mean, like in all honesty, I have more sympathy for like what happened with Scott Cawthorn.
Yeah,
I don't agree with Scott Cawthorn's politics, but like his donations got pulled up and you know shown, and then he left. Right, he was just like, I don't want to be causing problems. I'm leaving. Right. The thing is that, but then I had another thought last week. Like, okay, you thought you were right. Stick to your guns. Let it all blow over. See what happens. Maybe your company takes a financial hit. That's just the price you pay for your First Amendment. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. But the second part of me was like, listen, there's only two scenarios here. Either you knew what the fuck was going to happen when you tweeted about this stuff, or you didn't. And if you didn't, you are too stupid to have a Twitter account, because it is 2021. What did you think was going to happen? Did you think that you were going to tweet about abortion on Twitter and then have a reasonable response? Are you insane? Like, Twitter is not a place for reasoned responses.
He was better off quoting The Simpsons, where he's like, abortions for some and abortions for others.
Yeah, that's the part of me that kind of got to this, is like, you should know better. I know better.
He's the CEO of a company. He
should
have known
better. Yeah.
Like, anyone near him should have been like, no, don't even think about it. Like, I bet you he asked somebody. Like, he asked like somebody, he's like, hey, is this a good idea? And they're like, let's see what happens.
I was talking with somebody before about how like, oh, well, maybe it's just that he's disconnected because he's like rich, right? Or he runs a company, he's just CEO. And it's like, that's not even an excuse to me. Like, who doesn't know that Twitter is the fucking Thunderdome of the internet? Like, you're not going to get reasonable discourse on Twitter. Now, I'm not saying that that's the way it should be. I'm not saying that I prefer it to be the Thunderdome. I'm just saying that, like, you can't put shit on Twitter because you think that Twitter should work the way you want it to without knowing how Twitter actually works.
Well, here's the thing is, like, he should have just known that this was going to happen either way, because he's the CEO of a company. And literally every time a CEO says something that's slightly not popular, the company takes a massive hit, no matter what it is.
Yep.
There's the super extremes, like the Papa John guy, where he's like, I'm gonna say the N-word, and then that went horribly wrong for that guy and for Papa John's itself, which is why they ousted his ass as soon as they could.
Sure.
And then you have like the slightly less extreme, which is like that one dude who got fired for his thing, his old blog. From his early 20s. Like that's somewhat lesser, only because it's the one dude, and no one tied him, and he's not a CEO of anything as far as I remember, and he wasn't tied to like the company kind of thing. Like those tend to be the two extremes.
Sure.
Like no matter what it is, the second you say something that's slightly unpopular and you're the head of something, you were asking for trouble.
There's also something I don't want to wait. I mean, we're already splashing around.
If I started tweeting out, pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, and everyone who wants that should be murdered, then you guys would lose your shit on me.
But you would know that. You wouldn't
yes,
do that.
I would know that.
You wouldn't do that and then be like, what? What is happening? Why is everyone being so mean to me on the internet? You fucking know.
Yeah,
you don't have to be
exactly.
you don't have to have a degree in social media to understand. Like,
there are people who don't get it, though, Jeff. That's why people hire people for these things.
Then they should hire people. They shouldn't.
He should not have had access to his own Twitter in general.
I don't believe that ignorance of what the psycho hellscape of Twitter is, and I don't.
It's not a good excuse anymore, to be honest.
I don't like it. But then there was another thing. There was yet another tier to my thoughts, and because I'm on a roll, I'm going to say it. There was a time. You're old enough to remember. I'm definitely old enough to remember where, there is a saying where people would be like, don't talk about politics or religion.
Oh, yeah.
Like people would say, you would go to your job. You go to your office job, and you would know not to like go to the break room and be like, so how about that abortion law, Steve?
Yeah.
What do you think about all that, huh? Baby murder. I love it. Like, you wouldn't do that. Because you know it's a problem.
Yeah, you would rarely ever talk about anything political in any way, or something in that sort of same vein. Hell, most people didn't even talk about sports inside of a workplace, and just in case,
right,
kind of thing. And this dude just tweeted out to the world.
Yeah. I don't even know what the equivalent is. It would be like if you were at your job and then you just started, I don't know, just like drawing dicks.
It's the equivalent it's the equivalent if he walked into his job, grabbed a megaphone, and just said, I took a piss in the coffee because I think it's the best thing in the world. And that's even then, I don't think that's a good analogy.
No, it's not. I just, the thing is that, like,
either way, it involves a megaphone. From
and
there,
piss and urine.
I don't know about that. There's a joke in there that works, or an analogy that works there. Somebody will make something out of that.
The thing is that regardless of how you feel about any of this stuff, which
I'm counting on you comments.
For the record, I am pro-choice. I'm not a fan of Texas right now in general. Texas, 2021 has not been a great year for me and my feelings about Texas.
To set the record straight, I don't really eat pineapple on pizza because I'm a picky eater. So,
but I don't know. I've kind of lost my train of thought at this point. The thing is that you can't just do whatever and then not expect a response, right?
That's just Twitter. Yeah, you can't expect to put something out on Twitter and not expect somebody to have some kind of response to it,
like whether,
negative or positive.
Like whether the studios that were working with them canceled or not, right? Like if you put an opinion out there on something this inflammatory, you're gonna turn off people from buying your game based not on the quality of your game or any of that stuff, but based on like what you've said. Like some people are just going to be like, I don't want to buy this anymore. That's why companies are so fucking like bland and vanilla and milquetoast online.
That's why I brought up the Papa John's thing, because I didn't eat Papa John's till literally last month.
Ugh.
Because I just decided to.
Yeah.
And it was because like I randomly got an email and I was like, you know what, I haven't had Papa John's in a long time since that dude said the N-word kind of thing. Because that's the thing, is when he did that, it fucking ruined that pizza for a lot of people, including me. Because I used to eat it constantly because the apartment I lived at originally had it down the street kind of thing. Whereas like, I didn't eat it till, like I said, last month. And that was like years ago when he did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell this guy thought he was doing. Like, I just, if you don't say anything, then we don't think about it.
Yeah.
But if you say it, like, I guess that's the thing, is that nobody's like, bugging this guy's house to catch him on tape saying that he likes this this thing, and then releasing that Project Veritas secret tape into the world. You volunteered this information.
Yes.
All you had to do was not volunteer this information. And I know that, some people are just like, you should freedom of speech. And I'm like, right. But if you say it, then we know it. If you don't say it, then we don't know it. And you should fucking know better. Like,
well, that's the thing.
That's what makes me so mad about this. It's just like all you had to do was not say anything.
Well, that's the thing about freedom of speech is the freedom of speech is great, but you're not freedom from consequence.
Yep.
No matter what it is. Like it could have been the nicest thing in the world, and somebody still would have lost their shit on it, and he still would have had to deal with those consequences.
He could have said, "I don't like pineapple on pizza." And then they could have seen, like, in retrospect, a 10% decrease in sales from people that were like, fuck you, pineapple on pizza is my favorite. I'm not going to buy Tripwire's games anymore. That's, again, why, like, if you have a public presence, you have to be cognizant of what that means. And you can't just be like, I'm just going to do whatever. What? I saw a meme that was probably my best summation here, where it was like me reaping, and it was like, oh my god, this is incredible, I'm just having so much fun. And then it was like me sowing. It was like, what the fuck is all of this? It's like all you had to do was not say anything.
Well, this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, which is that I've had plenty of jobs that were like outright, it's probably better you just don't say you work here, kind of thing, because like anything you say, no matter what it is going to come back to us for no reason, kind of thing. Like it could have, again, the pineapple pizza thing. I could be like, I could say something stupid, not even just that, but just something fucking absolutely insane, and I'll just get fired from my job because it will go back to them, and that's happened to a lot of people.
Yep.
So that's just the thing about Twitter. Just don't say anything if you like your job,
or be cognizant of the fact that it's fucking Twitter. Like it's not your house.
No, it's not.
It's not like you're talking to your friend. It's not like somebody has put a microphone in your house. You are broadcasting information. It is not private. It's fucking Twitter. Like, ugh.
You walked into Times Square with your dick out. And you're wondering why people are like, why are you looking at my dick?
Right.
That's exactly what the equivalent of that is.
Right. Just keep your dick away. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's see. We actually get through it a little bit. So we have some other stuff. Star Citizen got a slap on the wrist in the UK from this consumer group that's basically, think of like the Federal Trade Commission, but in the UK, but it's like separated from the government. Of basically saying like, hey, you're charging money for things that don't exist and might not exist when you're selling these like ship concepts that aren't actually in the game. Like it's not like DLC. It's like you're selling the concept of DLC that might happen later, and like, no, because Europe kind of like gives more of a shit about
they do,
whether you're actually being a piece of shit when you sell stuff. So
they care about their consumers a lot.
Yeah. More than we do.
Yes, a lot more. So much more. Like that you can get good refunds very easily in these countries.
Yeah. So I think this is good. I think this is fine. And in fact, I think that they said that this article said that at this point there's like a little note below the ship in question, and then like you also get like a placeholder ship that is of equal value to what the ship that you bought is now if you buy one of these. I still can't believe that fucking Star Citizen is selling ships and isn't even a thing yet. Like
I was about to say, I'm surprised Star Citizen is still a thing.
Yeah.
This thing has so much money pumped into it, but it's not on anything.
It's like $350 million in development cost at this point.
And
like,
they're constantly getting more money from people.
Yeah.
And they're like, how about now? And it's just nothing's made.
Because they have a shop for a game that isn't out, and people buy stuff with their real money on it. Question mark?
People are fucking weird. I don't understand it.
I don't get this one.
They're better off playing Fallout 76 for some reason. At least that game kind of exists.
Yeah. It's got a brand new update we're going to talk about in a minute. Speaking of brand new updates, Blizzard changed a couple of achievements in World of Warcraft relating to sacks and bros before hoes. There was one that was called My Sack is Gigantique, and it's been renamed to My Storage is Gigantique, and then it was called Bros Before Ho Ho Ho's. It's been renamed to Holiday Bromance. These were some holiday quests that you could do that had names that now people are trying trying to scrub that shit down a little bit, trying to make it a little bit less gross. So
I don't really know how to feel because I tend to like stupid names like that.
Yeah.
But, if it's a super public game like that, I could see why that would be an issue.
I don't know. Every single mission name in Maneater is some kind of horrible pun, and they were all great, and none of them were, like, gross. But I don't know.
Well, like I said, it depends on what it is. Like,
true.
But, like, the My Sack is Gigantique is kind of stupid, to be honest. And Bros Before Ho-Hos, it's kind of a weird one. Like, I still think it's funny, but it's just a weird one.
That mission is like during the holiday thing. If you use mistletoe on 6 people that are part of like the Brotherhood, that's how you get that achievement.
That's fun though.
Yeah, holiday bromance is fine as well. We had this other weird controversy this week with RuneScape. I do not play RuneScape, and I really don't have any idea what the fuck even RuneScape is. But apparently, RuneScape, there was a modder that had spent a great number of time, a huge amount of time, making like an HD up-res package for RuneScape. And right as they were about to put it out, the company Jagex, Jagex, basically shut them down and said, no, you can't put that out. We are looking into working on an HD up-res pack for RuneScape, and so no. And then apparently the guy was like, well, I could put it out. Like, I'm not charging any money for it. I could put it out, and then I could take it down when you put out your HD patch, just so people have it in the meantime. And they were like, no, just go to hell. And then this got out, and their player base was like, what the fuck? And so they decided to reverse course and let it happen. So
that's the issue with a lot of these things, is that like people want to do mods like this, and then but studios see more and more money in remasters.
Yep.
That it's more and more tricky to let that sort of thing slide without revealing your hand.
Sure.
Kind of thing. And in this case, like, the guy was even just willing to be like, look, I'll just take it down once you guys have your shit.
Yeah.
Because like that's a compromise that's like, it's still kind of weird, but like at least he's trying, and they're just telling him to go fuck themselves, and that just shows how. And it could be a greedy thing depending on if they charge for their HD pack thing.
I mean, right now there's like a huge number of I have some stories this week that I didn't put in the podcast. People making mods for Grand Theft Auto that Rockstar is now like aggressively shutting down.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
I think our last time podcast.
I think it's just continues to go on. Like, they keep kind of shutting down more and more of them, which seems to indicate that there's going to be some kind of remaster coming
Absolutely.
out. In other scumbag news, this is actually a really funny one. So some of those PC reseller websites were literally selling keys for that Vampire the Masquerade free-to-play
oh, Jesus, really?
Battle Royale game. And one of the developers came out on Twitter and was like, public service announcement, don't buy Blood Hunt, it's free.
Jesus Christ.
Because, yeah, people were actually selling keys for a free-to-play game. I don't even know how that works. Like, were they just generating them on Steam somehow and then, like, selling them? Because literally this game is in early access on Steam and it's free.
Yeah.
You just go to Steam and hit install and boom, good to go. So
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Maybe they just feel like the people that are on these discount websites, they just don't look into it. So
probably.
I don't know. In other news, GOG for Star Trek Day put up 6 Star Trek games that you can now play on GOG. So yeah, they put up Elite Force 2, Hidden Evil, Starfleet Command 3, and Star Trek Bridge Commander. So
I always forget how many Star Trek games there actually are.
So many.
Because they were mostly PC games for the most part.
Yep. You remember Elite Force, though? That was a big deal when it came out.
Yeah.
I like the live action Choose Your Own Adventure one with the Klingon Star Trek Klingon,
yeah.
where Q comes out to like rewind shit when you do it wrong.
Yeah. That was a fun one.
I actually think I tried playing Elite Force. I've never made a video for Elite Force, but it doesn't hold up super great. Like at the time,
a lot of these don't, though. Yeah,
it was like, it's on the Quake 2 engine, and we're like, oh shit, wow.
That's the thing about, like, it was on the X engine or whatever the fuck thing it would be. You're like, oh yeah, that engine is so outdated now.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got an update for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is the one that we talked about a few weeks back that they were doing that was like Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, where like they're slowly updating areas to put like more complicated geometry and stuff in. So that came out. That's the good news. The bad news is that the Top Gun Maverick got pushed back until Labor Day of next year, and so did the Top Gun Maverick expansion for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Michael, I'm so sorry. I know you were looking forward to this so much. So, nah.
Oh no. Anyway.
Yes. Yes. Let's see. From there, this is so interesting. You remember earlier when you talked about that Unreal?
Oh my God! Really?
That Unreal demo that they put out that had that lady character and she was running around, and Epic made that character into a Fortnite skin that you could buy.
Why?
I don't know, but it's fucking crazy.
Okay, sure, I guess.
It's called Windwalker Echo. And it's just the lady from that demo, but as a Fortnite skin, because apparently everything has got to be a Fortnite skin at some point.
Can't escape it, Jeff. You're going to become a Fortnite skin.
Dude, I would love to be a Fortnite skin.
Yeah, but they're going to make you floss and stuff.
That's all right. I mean, it's inaccurate. I don't floss.
No, yeah.
I don't floss in any way. Not in my mouth, not in my body. No floss.
He just fucking squeezes a pineapple over his teeth and then on pizza.
Yep, I just rub it all in my gums. Yeah, but this is weird. I mean, it's a nice looking skin, but like, what a weird fucking thing.
It's a weird decision. Somebody's like, hey, no one's going to use this for anything else. Let anyone make it a Fortnite skin.
Yep. And then before we get to the trailers, one last thing. Last week, we had a story where the Chinese government was restricting children, people under 18 to 3 hours of gaming a week from 8 to 9 on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and no other time. You'll never guess what happened next, Michael.
What happened?
The children have figured out how to get around the ban.
Shocked, Jeff. I'm shocked.
This is crazy. Apparently, there's some kind of ID that you have to put in to verify like your age. And what's happened is that people have started renting out their IDs to people that are, because it's only if you're under 18.
Yeah.
If you're over 18, sky's the limit,
do whatever
right?
the fuck you want.
So e-commerce websites have started to rent out people's IDs to under 18-year-olds so they can log into their fucking free-to-play phone games and play their bullshit phone games.
Just asking for trouble with that.
Yeah. Well, I guess it goes to show that, you know, games will find a way.
Absolutely.
So,
soon, first games, then the porn.
Yep.
Then the world.
It was actually interesting because last week we were talking about how, like, I read another article that said that 92 to 95% of the games that are in China are, like, free-to-play mobile microtransaction, like, gacha games. It's not like, you know, it's like you only play an hour of Disco Elysium over on Friday night. It's like you can't play these shit ass phone games with 1 billion microtransactions. And I'm going to keep going on record here saying I'm kind of sympathetic to a government that's like, our children are just playing these trash games. Let's make it so they can't play the trash games. But
I get, the thing is, they have so many games that are just fucking insane. Like we get so few of them.
Yeah,
and a lot of the times it's because they're big game developers who want that money from them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the reason we get the Diablo ones, or that recent Castlevania one that's on Apple Arcade.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing. The funny thing is that one was supposed to be on Android, but they canceled it and only put it on Apple Arcade. So I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Wait, there's a new Castlevania game on Apple Arcade?
I don't know if it's out yet, but it's coming out soon. It was that phone game they announced ages ago.
Oh,
it was in beta on Android and Apple, like in everywhere other than America for some fucking reason. And then they canceled the Android one, and now it's only going to be on Apple Arcade.
I wonder if it will work on my Apple TV. I could totally play a Castlevania game with a controller and everything. Trailer time. Stop. Trailer time. As mentioned before, we got a brand new Death Stranding trailer. I know what you're saying. Didn't we just see a Death Stranding trailer? Yes, but this one is a pretentious one with a pop song directed by Hideo Kojima.
Or edited.
Edited by Hideo Kojima.
Well, he did direct the game, so I guess that counts.
Everything by Hideo Kojima. Man, this game is a good looking. Makes for a good looking trailer.
It was always a really good looking fucking game.
Yeah,
and the fact that this trailer is really well edited, and it just shows how fucking gorgeous this game always was.
Yeah, It shows a lot of the Mads stuff, which I kind of forgot about a little bit. The kind of the action sequences with Mads.
Those parts are great though, but they're fucking weird as shit.
They are,
as is most of this game, as is tradition.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Like it's like seeing all this kind of makes me excited again for playing this game. Like
it reminds me why I loved the game so much when it came out. Like it's one of those games that I get why people wouldn't like.
Yeah,
but man, me and you were just in love with this fucking thing.
Hell yeah.
Like we spend like most of our time after recording something talking about the weird shit we did to get deliveries to go faster.
Yep. No, I'm totally gonna play it again.
I set up a series of fucking zip lines to do this. Like, well, I set a series of roads and weird ass motorcycle jumps.
The zip lines, man, you got to get them zip lines.
Yeah,
especially when you're on top of that mountain.
Oh fuck yeah.
That mountain! I hate that mountain.
And then eventually the game's like, you have too many zip lines, so we're gonna start taking them down. You're like, no,
my zip lines.
So fuck. And then you gotta figure out which ones you want to keep. That was the whole thing.
God damn it! I need to research more zip lines. Yeah, it's a good looking trailer. If you've never played Death Stranding, especially if you have a PS5, we were just talking about the number of things. There's not a huge number of like specific exclusives. Yeah. It seems like something that would be really fun to play going forward, and I really want to see what the new content is. So, yeah, looks good.
Very excited.
Let's see. I know that you're equally excited for this Call of Duty Vanguard multiplayer trailer that I made you watch.
Sure, I guess.
I feel like every year that this happens, somehow I make you react to this Modern Warfare, the Call of Duty trailers that you just do not care about.
I don't give a fuck about Call of Duty. I haven't given a fuck about Call of Duty since I was in high school. Yep. And even then, I didn't really like it to begin with.
This is another one of those hey, this looks really awesome. This is a super fucking cool looking trailer. I know the game isn't like this.
It's never been like this. I wish it was, because then I would have fun with it.
Yep.
But, we kept making the joke, oh, you entered that room, you died. You left that room, you died. You looked at that room, you died.
Yeah.
You turned around, you died. God, it's just so frustrating. It's the reason I've never gotten into that series.
Yeah. I don't know. We might be skipping Vanguard. Maybe you guys let us know down in the comments whether is there people who really, 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 really want to see the single player for Vanguard, because I've never been any good at the multiplayer. I don't know. I guess there's some people that really like watching me struggle and curse and have a bad time.
People do like that.
I never understood it myself, but I don't know.
Call of Duty.
Anyway. Let's see. Aliens Fireteam is getting a new class called the Phalanx. It looks pretty cool. They got a big shield. There's also some new weapons and new powers and new things that are coming out. I'm glad that Aliens Fireteam Elite is doing well. So
it seems to be the bigger hit of these types of games that are based on an actual existing property so far.
Yeah. Fallout 76 is getting an update.
Yeah.
The Fallout Worlds. This is really strange. So if you have a Fallout First subscription, you can make a server that has custom rules. If you don't have a Fallout First subscription, you can join servers that have custom rules. And the custom rules are everything from like infinite ammo is turned on, gravity is low, like the weather, like how much money you get from stuff, like various enemy modifiers. It's real strange. It's a very, very weird thing to me, because it's I guess, are you guys not having enough fun with the base game that you have to go in and make you got to turn on the cheats in Call of Duty to make it good on the server? You got to turn on low gravity in Half-Life 2 so that everybody's just jumping around, and
it kind of is what it is, because I made the joke about Fallout 76 earlier. Fallout 76 is one of those games that it came out with literally jack shit to do.
Yeah.
And it's gotten more stuff as time's gone on, sure, but people get bored eventually, because there are those guys who've done fucking everything.
Yep.
And all they want to do is just dick around as much as possible, and that's kind of what these are for. These are specifically for those people who just want to dick around in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I guess the thing is that if it was that much of a failure, if absolutely no one was playing it, it probably would have gotten shut down by now. So
absolutely. It's making money. And, good for them that it's making money, but
some people are probably enjoying it. Yeah. So huzzah!
I play Avengers. Who am I to fucking talk?
Yeah, that's right. We also got a trailer for the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. This is like an actual breakdown trailer of like the various mechanics of this completely, totally Smash Brothers ripoff that we're getting. But it's actually got some interesting different mechanics. Like I was telling Michael before that, like it's got like a strafe button instead of having the weird kind of like, well, in Smash, when you want to turn around the other way, it's like you have to like really intentionally do it, or else you'll just kind of keep going you keep pointing in the same direction.
Yeah, whatever direction you're moving the stick at, you're gonna face that way. Like there isn't really a button to only face a specific way, kind of thing. And the fact that there's one in this is kind of amazing.
Which there is. Like projectiles can all be countered with just regular attacks. There's like a regular and a strong attack. There's like regular strong attack and then a super. There's a grab button. There's like a dash button. There's this weird strafe button that keeps you pointing in the same direction. I haven't seen anything in any of these trailers about like items like they have in Smash.
No, yeah. So far, none of the trailers have really shown something like that. I know there was a gameplay trailer of somebody fighting somebody. Life of me, I just can't remember who it was.
Well, there was an April one. There was a cat dog one.
It might have been the April one I was thinking of.
Last week, I think we got somebody leaked the box art, so it was Korra and Aang and one other character were like the three others hadn't been announced yet. Good lineup. And like, they're definitely doing something to differentiate themselves from Smash. Like they talk in here about how like there's no stamina on blocking. Like you can block for infinity, but you get pushed back when you block. But you can actually do like a perfect block. Like if you push towards the character and hit the block right where you get attacked, and that lets you counterattack immediately. But you can also do funky shit like literally grab projectiles out of the air and throw them back at people. So
they've put a lot of work into this thing, like more so than I ever expected.
It looks like they've done some interesting stuff to differentiate this from Smash while still making it pretty similar to Smash.
It's also supposed to have a really good net code.
Oh, there you go.
Compared to Smash.
Does Smash have really bad netcode?
Yes, it's one of the running gags in the fighting game community.
I don't ever play it online, so I wouldn't know. Yeah. We also got a trailer for Hell Let Loose, which is a console launch reveal date. This is that game that I feel like we saw during E3 that was like, it looks like a World War II shooter, but you actually control a squad of 5 guys.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So it's like 50 on 50, but each person controls 5 people. The trailer doesn't show any of that. The trailers continue to just be like, look, it's a World War II game where there's like tanks and machine guns and things are blowing up. I would like to see more about how that concept works, and I just feel like I haven't. So
no, yeah.
But it looks kind of interesting. We got a release date of October 5th, so it's gonna be on consoles this year.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got the news that Yoko Taro of Nier fame is making is partnered with Square Enix to make a card-based RPG called The Island Dragon Roars. And we don't have very much information. It's just a very short teaser, but apparently it is not like a Nier tie-in. It is very much its own RPG that's all based on cards. You're just telling me how much you like cards, so I'm sure that and I know how much you're into Nier, so obviously this is right up your alley.
Right up my alley.
I would like to see more about this. It's interesting.
Those cards look really far though.
Yeah,
instead of Nier.
I'm gonna skip my No More Heroes story because of you.
Never.
Another indie developer, Suda51, was on a stream answering questions and talked about how like someone's asking about merch for No More Heroes. He talked about how there is no official merch for No More Heroes, but like there are people online that are just like taking the images and screen printing them onto those crappy shirts, and he's like, you should probably just go buy one of those if you want one. Like,
I had a friend send me a link to one actually.
Yeah,
I think it's from Redbubble. It's just a bunch of them. I'm like, I might buy one of these.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that like Marvelous actually has the license for No More Heroes, so it's not even like Grasshopper's getting like a lot of money based on merchandising or anything. So the idea that Suda51 is just like, I don't know, man, just go find one of those ripoff sites on the internet and buy my shirts there. I don't give a shit.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't have any, so. But
I might actually get a few because I actually really like some of the shirts in that.
Yeah.
That series.
What was the quote? The shirts you see behind me were shirts that we actually made at Grasshopper. We're not really selling them officially. I'm sure if it's okay to bring this up, there's a site called Red Ribbon, and they appear to be selling the shirts on their own without permission. Since we're not doing it, if anyone there wants a shirt, check out Red Ribbon. They got them there. So,
yeah, there's a lot of places that really would be totally cool with that.
Yeah.
As long as they're printed well, I don't give a fuck. I'll buy one.
And then last but not least, we have some fun stuff. Last week we got the crazy AI generated Street Fighter faces.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
You saw those?
Yeah.
And this week somebody took Dark Souls and put the characters in Dark Souls through a similar process. Man, dog commercial. I don't care. Let me skip the ad, please.
Fleas, Jeff.
I've got flea medication, bro. So it's actually interesting because the Dark Souls faces are a lot more generic. Like they don't have as much shit on them, so the AI representation of them actually looks really good. Like,
yeah, actually, that's a really normal looking face.
Here's the Crestfallen Warrior.
That looks like the dude from The Office.
There's Dusk. Who?
The
Dwight?
Ryan, the young
Ryan?
guy.
Yeah. There's Dusk of Ulasil. Like all these look good, except this guy. They couldn't figure out. The AI couldn't figure out what to do with his
He
hat.
just looks fucking ridiculous.
But the Forest Hunter, there's Griggs. Like it would be kind of cool to see these characters like look like this.
Yeah, these are actually pretty good looking. Actually,
Yeah,
these look like real people for the most part.
yeah, because they took like a character generator that was trying to make regular people and not like anime monsters.
Yeah,
and
which
then,
is what the Street Fighter one was for the most part.
like Ibuki had stubble because they couldn't figure out what to do with the face mask.
Yeah, some weird shit on that Street Fighter one, guys.
But
If you guys haven't seen it, yeah, look it up.
yeah, so these look really good. Like these are really good. I wish that they were there. The other thing though is that most of the characters in Dark Souls are wearing hats or helmets or whatever. So you actually don't really see that many characters faces in that game. But that's
Looks like Sandra Bullock.
Quelaag. But yeah, this is interesting. Like I would say, whose channel is this? This is Illusory Wall. I would go check that out because it's pretty fucking cool.
Yep.
Another cool thing that you've never seen before on the internet is this. Let me make sure that I attribute this because this was a Minecrafter. What the fuck? Open a YouTube video. God damn it! What the hell? Fine.
You just use the open link in new tab.
Yeah, I know. No, it's okay. There we go. So this is from Mysticat, which is a person that is using like the kind of programmatic tools in Minecraft to make a swimming pool that is a perfect circle.
Oh my god.
And what they're doing is they're literally, I watched this entire thing today. They're literally taking they're generating blocks that are not connected to the ground. So they're generating like blocks in the air and they're generating them in a circle. And then once they generate them, they like turn them so that they like kind of click to the center. And at the end of the day, after like messing around with materials and stuff, this person ends up with a pool in Minecraft that is, god damn, fucking, I gotta buy YouTube Pro or whatever the hell it is, red, that is like an actual circle in Minecraft.
All these squares make a circle, Jeff.
Which is really strange.
Oh, Jesus.
And it takes us all this like kind of crazy programmatic stuff that they're doing, and then at the end they have a little swimming pool that is a perfect circle, which
it's
is
fucking creepy looking though in Minecraft.
It's really weird.
Seeing a circle in Minecraft is fucking unnatural.
It is really weird. And last but not least, we had a trailer for the Lego Super Mario 64 question mark block, which is a big fucking question mark block that opens up to have this little dioramas of various Mario 64 levels. This thing is crazy.
Yeah, we were comparing it to like the Polly Pocket type things, but as Lego.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Because the Mario and the Peach are literally just like 3 blocks kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird, but like it's cool, I guess, but I don't really see the point of it, to be honest.
It reminds me a lot of the NES. What, the NES little TV that when you cranked it, the Mario would go across.
I found one not that long ago.
How much was it?
It was like, I don't remember, but it was at a Barnes and Nobles here in Austin.
Really?
This was not too long ago.
Because they were expensive, right?
There were a couple. I think it was a couple hundred. I think it was 150 or something like that.
This one's $170. Hot damn! Just fucking accept cookies. My God, internet, quit being a dork. It's kind of cool, but like this is, I don't know. This is 100% a not Jeff thing.
It's a lot of work. Like you have to make the entire thing is the thing.
But and then once it's done, what do you do? Well, you just put it there.
It's a display thing.
And you go, check this out. And people are like, ooh, it's not going to get you laid or anything.
Well, it might. I don't know. You got to try hard enough, Jeff.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You want to see my King Babam? And they're like, oh, I thought you were talking about your dick. Oh, I was talking about Legos.
I haven't been outside in 18 months. Maybe it will get you laid. I don't know.
Actually, nowadays, maybe. I don't know. You can just be like, you want to see my Legos? And then they're like, fuck it, I guess. Sure.
If I was going to spend way too much money on a thing that I was going to sit in my house, I would buy that fucking Perfect Grade Gundam that I showed you that the tested guys built.
Perfect grades are so fucking hard to make. Oh my God.
That was crazy.
When I saw him make that one, I was like, oh, that's satisfying, but I would never be able to make that in a million years.
Nah, it'd be great. It'd be great. I mean, it was all snapped together, right? I mean, it's funny because I saw people make there was a Perfect Grade like EVA-01, and they're like painting every piece of it. But on that tested video, they just fucking snapped that shit together with their hands, man.
Well, a lot of it's just how fragile a lot of it is the issue, because you have to mix the skeleton and then the body. It's a pain. That's the reason Perfect Grade's Gundams are pain in the asses, because of how detailed they are.
Yeah. Hey, we got some time.
They're so real expensive.
Let's do some questions.
Sure.
I mean, if I was going to buy any of them, there was there was a EVA-01, there was a Millennium Falcon, and then I saw there was a RX-78 Gundam, and I'm like, well, that one, obviously.
I knew a guy with the Millennium Falcon one. That one took him forever to make.
I looked at that when I watched somebody build that, and I was like, but it doesn't have, when you got the Gundam and it's finished, it's like so posable. You do so much with that.
That's the thing with the models, at least. The boxes are always massive, too, because of how much stuff that they come with.
The EVA-01 had all this rubber tubing in it to put over the arms so that it bent, and it was it didn't look great. It was okay. But let's see. I'm gonna try to get a few in here. So let's see. Marcus writes in and says, hello, Jeff and Michael. During the pandemic, I've unsubscribed from a significant number of podcasts for many reasons, including one podcaster who threatened an act of violence to another podcaster. Journalistic practices two podcaster did that went against my code of ethics, and some podcasts that I'm just bored by and decided to move on. Have you experienced unsubscribing from podcasts during this pandemic? I would love to hear your response. Of course, the podcast I won't unsubscribe from is Rage Select Podcast, the only podcast blessed by Dongacles. Rage on and take care. That's from Marcus. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Marcus. I mean, I feel like I was telling you to eat pineapple on pizza. That's an act of violence, right?
Is it though?
Probably. I don't know. I mean,
I thought the act of violence was starting to murder everyone who ate pineapple on pizza.
By the way, y'all should all know that Michael accidentally got a pineapple and ham pizza.
That's kind of why it's fresh in my head.
Came up.
It was an accident, I swear.
What do you listen to very many podcasts?
I used to a lot, but that has nothing to do with the pandemic for why I stopped listening to them.
Okay.
It all came down to the fact that I started jobs that didn't let me listen to them while working.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Like even my current job, because I changed jobs if I haven't really said out loud, I guess, on anything that I know of.
Yeah.
That job involves calling people constantly. So I can barely even listen to a song,
right?
Let alone an entire podcast.
What about in your car? Do you listen to just music?
Well, I haven't. Well, yeah, because I don't really go that far anymore.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And if I do go that far, I maybe will listen to a podcast. I still sometimes listen to Corey's Double Toasted Stuff or One of Us reviews kind of thing, or Junk Food Cinema. But that's only if I feel like I have time and there's something in there I want to listen to.
Sure.
Like I listen to Brian's Junk Food Cinema stuff more often than everybody else's for the most part, because it's just him talking about specific movies and I wasn't there to record about it, kind of thing. So it's easier to listen to.
Are you telling me that you don't listen to the Rage Select podcast?
I actually do sometimes. It varies. I do listen to some of them, but again, it still comes down to the fact that I just don't know if I have time, because our podcasts are pretty long.
Yes.
Whereas Junk Food Cinema is maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Where it's last time I listened to one, it was almost 3 hours long.
I only ever listen to my own podcast when somebody in the comments is like, I can't believe what you said. And then I listen to it and I go, I don't get it.
I don't know what I said.
I don't know what I said. It sounds just like me fucking flapping my flap hole the way I've been doing for a long time.
For the most part. I don't know how many times I've said that kind of thing, though. As the comments mention. I don't think I've said it in a while, to be honest, which is surprising.
I say like all the time. I got the verbalized pause. I say like. I say
When I was in high school, I knew this guy who was like, I want to make an action figure review and just record the weird shit that you'll say.
Yeah.
That you say constantly, like that kind of thing. And then put it into this figure and just give it to you. He never did. I wish he did, though. That would have been fun.
I unsubscribed. I didn't unsubscribe from podcasts, but I started listening to audiobooks instead of podcasts.
Oh, okay.
Because I used to listen to a lot of politics podcasts. You know, I don't generally broadcast my politics on Rage Select, but I listen to a lot of like lefty podcasts. I listen to some righty podcasts. I'd listen to a lot of different podcasts, a lot of different angles and stuff like that. It got to be too much during the pandemic, where I was just like,
that, yeah.
You know, there's one way where you're going about your life, and you are also listening to politics that are just like the interest rates, and you're like, oh my god, I'm fucking. Then it all became a little too much when can't go outside. Everybody's taking their temperature. Things got a little too real there, and I needed to just listen to stuff. Like I'm actually listening to the last book in that Shadow and Bone thing. It's like,
oh, okay.
There's 3 books, and I listened to those.
Is that the thing your sister asked you?
Yeah.
Like read or something?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. I will tell you. I think I've said this before, but I'll tell you. So the Shadow and Bone trilogy is 3 books, and those books are about a young girl, and it turns out she's a wizard, Harry. And there's this one guy that she's known since she was a little girl, and she's super in love with him. But then there's this dark, dangerous bad boy.
Is he a werewolf?
He's worse than that. But and he could be. Maybe she's in love with him. But oh no, it turns out there's a dark sorcerer, and now we have to go on a quest that takes 3 books to finish, and everybody's blah 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 blah. Fine, whatever. I don't give a shit. I listen to all of them, but only because I walk my dog and I listen to them, so I get like 20 or 30 minutes a day worth of Alina Starkov and Mal and all their fucking moony-eyed bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Then there's a 2-book trilogy. So this all happens in like this fictitious Russia. It's like a weird Russia where there's wizards, wizard Russia. But then there's like other lands, and in there's the Six of Crows duology. So there's these 2 books, and those books are about a bunch of fucking like gutter trash wizards pulling a big heist in like the creepy underbelly of like steampunk London. That shit is on fucking fire. Like that shit was great. Like it was 6 characters, and the audiobook was amazing because they would have a different narrator for each character. So each chapter flipped between different characters, and then each character had a different narrator. It was great. That was the whole thing. I was like, this is fucking great. We get to the end. It's like a big Ocean's 11 thing, and it's like magic, and there's all this crazy shit. And I was just like, fuck, great. Then there's another 2 books, and that's what I'm on right now. And that's like what's happened after all that. And the first one was okay, and the second one is a little better. But the one in the middle, those ones are good. 6 Crows and the fucking another one that comes after 6 Crows. Those are great. You don't even need to know shit. You don't even know shit about fucking Alina and her starry-eyed moody romance. You can just go right and do that.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, there was some podcasts I used to listen to a lot back in the day. Hollywood Babylon was one that I used to listen to, which is a Kevin Smith, Ralph Garman podcast. Same with Lore. Listen to a lot of Lore, but I
listen to Lore.
So behind on it. I used to listen to it constantly, and then one day I just wasn't able to, and then I haven't listened to it since, which is a shame. Same with Giant Bomb. I used to listen to Giant Bomb all the time, but their podcasts are also like 3 hours long. I used to listen to Giant Bomb, but I couldn't help myself from repeating their jokes or their opinions. So I was just like, can't do it anymore. Sorry, guys. And now a giant chunk of them have left, and they've made their own thing. Yeah. So now it's just like, oh, I just don't even feel like going back. I do like listening to. I still listen to Triple Click and Watch Out for Fireballs, which are both video game podcasts. I like Triple Click with Jason Schreier and Maddie Myers and Kirk Hamilton. Kirk Hamilton, I think that's his name. I like them because they have 30-minute podcasts where they talk about one thing for 15 minutes, and then they'll do like
this segment called One More Thing, where it's like what we do at the beginning, but they do it at the end.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like, what's the thing you've been doing? And it's like, I want to talk about this thing. But for the most part, I've been trying to drift away from podcasts because I also just don't think that unless, I mean, this is going to get into personal philosophy, right? But like, if you're dissatisfied with the state of the world and yet you're not willing to like go out on the weekends and volunteer and like knock on doors and try to change minds and shit, it's just kind of like it is good to be informed about things, but there's a point where you're just reading bad news all the time and you're never doing anything about it. So like you could be ignorant and happy, or you could be informed and active. But if you are informed and inactive, that you're just sitting there going like, ah! So
that's most of what our Facebook feeds are nowadays. It's just people shouting into the air.
I stopped reading Facebook.
Like, I wish we could do something about this. So I'm like, that's neat. I'm gonna post this meme now.
Yeah, I stopped reading Facebook. I don't post anything on Twitter. Listen to my audiobooks. Like if I can talk to you guys like over the course of the week. But I don't think I've ever. The only other podcast I think I've ever like, I've turned off some podcasts for ideological reasons. I think I stopped listening to Matt and I have talked about how I stopped listening to Last Podcast on the Left because they do true crime.
Okay.
And they're really flip about like murders that actually happened. And like, that's fine. It turned me off. I was like, there's a point where you guys are making like jokes about like, these are people who actually got tortured to death. And like, I get it. A macabre sense of humor is not beyond me. But there's a point where I'm like, no, not for me.
Well, the tricky thing about true crime podcasts is that like you either have to do that to try to like get away from the fact that this is one of the most horrible things that's ever happened to somebody,
right?
Or you just have to accept the fact that this is the most horrible thing something's ever happened to somebody, kind of thing. There's not really an in between with those kind of thing, because like you said, like eventually you listen to the jokes about it and you're like, it's not really alleviating now so much as it just feels like almost hurtful.
Yeah, I'm interested in. I have listened to a fair share of true crime. I listened to that one that was, God, what was it? It was Dr. Death. That was about this like.
Isn't that a Batman villain?
I don't know.
I think it is actually.
It was like this fucking guy in Dallas that somehow faked his way through like medical school and was doing like spinal surgeries on people, but he didn't have any fucking idea what he was doing. He kept like maiming people for like 5 years, just over and over again.
Oh, I know that story actually.
Like I think they made a series about it on HBO or something like that. I listened to that and I was just like, this is interesting. I never want to go to the doctor ever again, but it's interesting.
Yeah, speaking of murder podcasts, that's like actually part of the only murders in the building thing.
Oh, yeah?
Is that the reason they're all three of them are investigating the murders? Like, let's do a podcast on it.
Oh, the true
because they all meet each other because they're all really into another true crime podcast.
Yeah.
And then that's what spurs the thing to happen.
Did you ever listen to that joke podcast that was like it was like the Onion or something that he did it, that was like, it was based on like Serial. It was basically like a crime podcast, but it was ridiculous. Like in the third episode, like the podcaster becomes the chief of police because the chief of police quits because he's tired of his podcaster giving him shit and he decides to do it. But it's all like narrated, very NPR. I did not know that was Serial. Yeah. It's like 5 episodes or something like that. It was pretty
I'll
funny.
have to find that.
Anyway, let's do one more. Z Gamer wrote this a long time ago, and I kept skipping over this question, so I'm going to read your question. Z Gamer said, "Hey Jeff and Michael, haven't asked a question here for a while, so forgive me if you've addressed this. On the heels of the previous Mass Effect question, do you have any particular things you'd like to see happen whenever Mass Effect 4/5 comes out? However they label it after Andromeda. Do you feel that merging Andromeda with the Milky Way plot would benefit both storylines or just further complicate the narrative? And will BioWare ever remember how to animate faces properly?" That's from Z Gamer.
Zarian.
Here's the thing.
I want some space battles.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, the thing about Mass Effect is you get these really cool animated space battles, but you never get to do any of them.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to actually have, like, because I know it's no longer the Normandy. I don't even know the name of the ship for Andromeda anymore.
Oh, I have no idea.
I would like to have, like, one of those sequences be playable.
Yeah.
Instead of just be like, look how cool this is. Like, because, like, we had the Mako, but everybody fucking hated the Mako.
Right.
Kind of thing. But that was the only thing we got that was a drivable vehicle in any way.
There was a weird hovercraft tank in 2 that came with that one expansion.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that happened. But that's the thing.
I'm just cutting off the comment at the door.
No, but that's the thing is that's what I mean though. Is like they're never the ships themselves.
Yeah.
And there's all these like space battles and stuff that happen throughout 1 through 3, but we never actually get to do any of them.
Yeah.
And that's something I would like to actually be able to like. That would be something that would be kind of cool to be able to do.
I've never been as I know a lot of people who are super into the Mass Effect lore. I really don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me whether they just make Mass Effect 4 and they're just like, oh, all the mass relays came back online magically.
We found another set just in the back.
It's a mystery. What happened? I don't know.
It's right next to our TVs that we never used.
Yeah. All I care about is whether it's actually compelling to play and whether the story is any good. That was the problem with Andromeda, was I just never was able to really like hook into the story, whereas Mass Effect 1 was really easy to hook into. You're the fucking Spectre, and then you got the fucking Reapers show up and turning people into screaming Terminators, and you're just like, oh shit, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then the Council's like, man, Shepard, shake my finger, and you're like, go fuck yourself. And then, yeah, it's your favorite shop on the Citadel, the end. That was
It
what
was
happened.
easy to go rogue in the original Mass Effect trilogy because people would give you shit, and you'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, they were always up your ass about something. They're like, it's not how I do stuff out here. And it's like, yeah, fine. You want my badge and gun? It's fine. I think it would be interesting if they had some maybe like...
they need more alien races, to be honest. Because everybody was mad there wasn't a lot in Andromeda.
Yeah.
They were mad that the ones that were also introduced were not really all that much in the game either. So they just need more unique races outside of what they've already made.
I kind of wish that they would be able to go back and do what they wanted to do with Andromeda, where it was supposed to be procedurally generated. And I feel like we've gotten a lot better at procedurally generating like good stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it'd be really cool if you could make a Mass Effect that was like Star Trek, where maybe there's like an overarching plot, right? But then like make it a bunch of little episodes where you go to a planet and you have like a little self-contained adventure instead of like a side quest. Just kind of structure it episodically, like not episodically like we're going to come out with part of it every month, but just like kind of like, you know how it is in Metal Gear Solid 5 where every time you start a mission it has like the credits go by.
Okay,
but not that. Just like, you know, fucking once you finish a thing and you do a few things, have the screen just crossfade, and then it's like 2 weeks later and you're just like, all right, we found this new planet, Mr. Rex. What should we do? Just like, bomb them, Captain. And you're like, no, Mr. Rex, no.
That'd be kind of cool.
I just don't know why they've never made a good Star Trek game. Like,
that's the thing. I've never understood that either. They always turn them in like shooters and shit. And they're just like, why don't you just make like a one that plays like a normal Star Trek movie or Star Trek episode?
There should be like, they should make one where it's like, okay, well, this mission is a shooting mission. And then this mission is like, you know what? They need the flexibility, not the same thing, but they need the flexibility of like of kind of what Hitman does, where you can like use stuff, but you can also shoot stuff, but you can also look at stuff. So like you have some missions where you have to go down and then the aliens are like pew pew, and you can be like, oh shit, pew 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 pew, and then like you have a fight and then you win. But then sometimes you're just like on the ship and they're like, Captain, there's a ghost on Sector 12. And you're like, oh, fuck. Scan it, Mr. Rex. I'm going to go down. Meet me in the turbo charge. Let's go down to Sector 12 and see what this Irish ghost is all about. And then, you know.
Sir, the holodecks come alive again. God damn it.
Yeah. Sir, Liara is on the holodeck and their sex program is out of control. And now everybody's horny because the air is made out of booze. And like, oh no, Mr. Just make, you know what? Fuck it. Erase Mass Effect. Just erase the series and just make me a game, an episodic game where it's like the hub of the game is the Enterprise. And then just every week gamify an episode of Star Trek and put it out. And I can just download it on Friday and play a 1 hour adventure with a bunch of shit. And like, you don't even have to make it look super good. Make it like Fortnite style, right? And like every week you just be like, sign up for a subscription, and then every week you get one episode of Star Trek, and it's just it's like a 45-minute adventure. If I can just go do it, and then at the end it just says executive produced by Gene Roddenberry. Bam, good to go. I don't need Mass Effect. It was supposed to be Star Trek, and then it ended up being Firefly, and I don't want fucking get out of here.
I could see that. Yeah.
Give me some actual Star Trek where they got the beeps and the boops. Also, there was a bunch of trailers this week for Picard season 2 and Lower Decks and all that stuff. So, yeah. Do you watch Star Trek, Michael?
Not really. Not the way I used to.
All right.
It's been a very long time.
You seen all the old ones?
Yeah, I watched I watched TNG, and then I went back and watched TOS.
DS9?
No. Because at that point my brother wasn't watching them, so I didn't have a reason to watch them. Well,
we're over the 2-hour mark. This is the point where Jeff's like, you gotta watch Deep Space Nine. Just skip to when Sisko has the beard and just fuck the rest of it. Like, you can pick it up from there.
Yeah, Gene's been posting about rewatching it right now, and
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
He always talks about how great it is. No, actually, everyone I know has talked about how great it is. Who's seen it at least.
You can do that too. You have DS9, and then every week you get a new episode. Sometimes it's in the station. So, like when they got like 1 week, it'd make like a season of TV, right? Where like next week we're doing a big alien adventure. So this week there's a ghost in the turbo lift, right? And then you got to solve that. And it turns out it was actually a cross contamination from the gel packs on the hydrogen level, and it only pretends it's a ghost. It's actually an alien entity. You got to flush it back through the wormhole, and then Sisko's like, "I'm Jesus," and then boom, Gene Roddenberry. That's it. The Rage Select Podcast, sexy and produced by Gene Roddenberry.
Jesus Christ.
Michael, tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me on oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews.
And you can find me right where you are at mail@rageselect.com. Also, you can send in questions. And you can also go to patreon.com/RageSelect. Help us out, kick us some bucks. Patreon's been down a little bit. A few people have been stepping up. I like it when the people step up, so step it up. That's it. I don't have a clever outro this week. Executive produced by Gene Roddenberry. My pizza's been executive produced by Gene Roddenberry. Good night.